I'm fully aware that people like have lives. Doo-ba-doo-ba-doo. Copy the link. Post that link. Find bloody chats. Find the announcement channel. So yeah, hello and welcome to Dark Heresy 2nd Edition, Burning Systems Suicide Cell, Act 2, Session 13. I am your host and Dungeon Master, Deadlight. I am joined by Dax, who is a newcomer.
Hello.
I'm joined by Grey.
Hello.
I'm joined by Rachel, who is not typing anything. I am joined by Sven. Scene.
Sean.
Sean.
Hi guys.
And I'm joined by Swimmer.
Hello.
Oh right, Rachel's getting food. I wasn't paying attention. And apparently no one else was. So yeah. Last time you finished up with the Mechanicus. They gave you some new updated leads, or they gave you a lead, but you can't. You wanted to go somewhere to double check it and confirm it. And in the region, you also wanted to stop off and finish the Old Cell's last mission. Now I actually have to open Volume 1 because I can't remember these bloody places because. Now, on the map, I would have normally done Barrier Station first, but because I want to get the new player in sooner rather than later, I'm going to go to the station, the other station. Which means I've got to find the name of it, which I have written down. I just decided to not, look for it before the session started. I remembered it when I was thinking, then when I actually was going to say it, it's like...
It happens. It happens.
Zanrov. There we go.
Mm.
Okay. So you... Zanrov isn't really a hidden station. Probably not... Okay, cool. That's fine. To answer your question, you probably wouldn't be able to get Pier Mechanicus. But I would say you were able to get Pier Tranquility Station. In my mind, it doesn't make sense to just have Pier Mechanicus when the Mechanicus is a massive, sprawling mess of nonsense. Like most massive organizations in 40k.
Like basically the entire Imperium.
Yeah, but it makes sense in my mind to have, Pier this location or Pier that location. That's fine. In this instance, I would not charge you XP for it. Because you actually have to physically go there to get out to, take advantage of it.
Is this for just for Icarus, or is this for the whole party?
I will say for the whole party that was there. So the people that went
Okay.
down. So the
Oh, okay.
So
I know I went down, so...
yeah. Can somebody message Rach because I've got to keep my train of thought, otherwise I'll forget. So yeah, you arrive at Zanov Station. Void-based Zanov, that's the name. This technically it's nowhere. It's in the middle of nowhere. It's not on. It's on stable warp routes, but they're not major ones. They're kind of convoluted and long, and so not many people come out here. It is on a lot of maps simply because people don't want to go there because it's an Inquisition base, and they tend to blow up people who turn up in the wrong. You know this to be this sort of heart. Yeah. Continue our bashing of Swansea? Yes, yes it is. You know, this is somewhat of the heart of the Inquisition in the Underfell. It's where they keep a lot of their, it's where they publicly keep a lot of their artifacts. You get the feeling that they probably don't keep everything there, and it might just be a decoy. But that's only because, that's only something you get the impression of because you've been in this Inquisition. An outsider would not know this. That is
Yeah.
a decoy.
It's not quite our museum, but sort of.
Yeah. You know that you were informed that the senior agent there is a... they wouldn't be... No, they would be an interrogator, actually. Interrogator... let's go with Felix. Interrogator Felix. For some reason, Felix just puts a mind of cats in my head, but oh well.
Yeah.
That's what efforts do to you. So yeah, you know that. Your ship enters the subsystem. No, not subsystem, the system itself. Docks up with minimal issue. I knew there was something I forgot. Dex, did you... You did a backstory, didn't you?
Yes, I have a backstory written up. How much do you want me to tell you right now?
Can you tell me why you're joining the cell?
Alright. So, the backstory I envisioned for my character is that he was more someone... the right words I say for is that he was voluntold to the Inquisition, otherwise they would kill him, because based on his backstory, from what I've written up, he was a gang lieutenant in one of the primary hive cities in this region. He was basically an underhive lieutenant, and after his gang achieved a level of prominence, renegades, heretics, and other would fleeing the wrath and vision of more traditional aspects of society. Others would come to his gang and exchange information and services in exchange for protection. And so this is how my character, Rico Ripshot Descendant Cruz, would technically go along the path of the heretic.
Mm-hmm.
And so, as his gang basically started to gain more power, gain resources, gain information, they would start to restore Manufactor and the Underhive that were basically lost when more reputable parts of the hive kind of fall into decay.
Mm-hmm.
So, the way I see is that when my character was basically trying to scavenge resources with some of his other gang members in a warehouse, he accidentally stumbled across, just by sheer happenstance, a group of... Sorry, I'm just a bit out of breath. I was running everywhere.
That's fine. Take your time. No rush.
But when he and a few of his gang soldiers were looking to raid a warehouse they thought was abandoned, it turns out that a heretical group there was using it for some kind of profane rituals. And when they came up to it, a firefight naturally broke out as they wanted to keep their secrets well secret. Mm-hmm. When Rico's side eventually won out, an inquisitorial cell that was tracking the cult would have marched on it, trying to take advantage of the distraction, And so Rico and his men were basically told, you can either join up with us to keep everything secret, or we can kill you right here. And Rico took the offer, because he's not going to die stupidly. So the way I see it is that he would have basically been assigned to this cell as basically muscle slash putting tech, and basically sent along to basically be like the equivalent of a penal guard trooper that no one really cares about. You know, someone that would basically shin in first, and if they die, no one cares.
Okay, fair enough.
Just under Hive scum, you know, dime a dozen.
Yeah. Yeah, probably I would say added onto that, while some of your, while other members of your gang at the time were captured, you've been purposely split up. Because, let's face it, don't really want them to cluster together, especially seeing some of the agents are actual ex-gangers, some of the more prominent members. Case in point, your current, the throne agent you are being assigned to, Eric's, hey Serene. Let's see you.
Hey.
The throne agent you're being assigned to, you are informed that she is a Veritas Last, and that Veritas Last are, it's not very hard to learn that they are all ex-gangers. Or almost all ex-gangers. The details of how, 700 plus of them ended up in the Inquisition's care is classified on repeated levels, not in repeated moments, sorry. Seriously, it was multiple instances of nonsense. But yeah, you are assigned. You are in a docking bay when a shuttle comes in. The shuttle is of unknown origin to you. It doesn't look Imperial in the slightest. There's a few scribes and stuff about, but not really anyone else. No one of note. Shuttle lands. Who comes off the shuttle first?
Would Rico be on the shuttle or no?
No. You're in the hangar bay watching this strange shuttle land.
Okay. Just making sure.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'll follow after Icarus.
Icarus. Apparently Icarus can't talk anymore.
Yeah.
So yeah, Icarus walks off. Icarus... This is actually quite a good point, where if people want to describe themselves, now would be the time. So people can... Dex obviously doesn't know what...
Yeah, Icarus is in administrative robes, and has a kind of fancy dress under the robes, permed hair, a sword, a stylized fancy sword at his side, and jewelry and such on his rings and necklaces and things such as that. And yeah, he's a little bit on the haughty side.
Okay. So yeah, he steps off first. Who's next?
Scythia will follow right after Icarus. She's dressed in a black noble outfit, and she has psycho robes, and across her back is a sheathed sword.
Next off?
Next off would be Sengu. And the first thing you notice about him is that he is quite massive. If you have ever seen Ogrim, that, but scaled down to a human height. So basically, as broad as he is high, dressed in a sort of brown, simple robe that hides most of his features. You would still see that he has greenish skin, and from the sleeves you see that he's wearing like heavy gauntlets and a shield strapped to his back. He seems to hang back a little bit and observe everything that's going on.
Next. Yep. Next is a Sister of Battle. She's in black power armor. Like completely encased, just walks down. Holy symbols, traditional sort of Sister of Battle attire. The robing is red. But yeah. Aside from that, it's just like Sister of Battle. Insert any picture you like. And I think that would just leave one character.
Yes. The last person to walk off is a about 4 foot tall, blue scaled Arcula, a Xeno, in fact. He's dressed in like this dark, kind of like not waistcoat, trench coat that just covers most of his body. It kind of drags on the floor a little bit, and a large hat that 2 of his horns poke out of. He was probably the pilot, just given the craft. He doesn't seem to be wearing anything under the trench coat exactly, as you can still see blue peeking out from it. Not much else is really notable about him other than, of course, he's a Xeno.
Yeah. A bit more just describing the Xeno, because I don't think Dex knows. They kind of look a bit like kobolds. Snouts. They're kind of short. They're not short enough to be like rattling size, but they're maybe 4 to 5 foot tall. There's fine scales. Long, not long tail, but decently sized tail. And yes, he is obviously a Xeno. You have heard, you haven't seen any other Xenos on the station? You have heard there are currently other Xenos on the station. So, there is that. So, it might be a bit of a shock to you, it might not be. It is your character.
Okay then. I'm thinking about that at the moment. Would you like me to describe my character? See, am I basically at the loading bay where these people are being dropped off from this Xeno shuttle?
Yes.
Okay. So would I be part of their welcome team, or the team that's receiving them? Would they see me?
Yeah, they would see you. Like, you're kind of like standing there with a bunch of like scribes in purple robing. Everyone would know these are just sort of generic inquisitorial scribes that are just there to like record various things. Rex would be the Rico would be the one character that like stands out.
Okay. So amongst the gaggle of scribes and hangers-on, Rico stands there a bit on the shorter side, probably about 5'6", 5'7". He's dressed quite plainly in standard underhyper fare. He wears a brown duster that has seen one of its fair shares of bullet holes and stab cuts. He's completely bald with a burn along the left side of his face, wearing some welding goggles, with a surprisingly well-trimmed goatee, and he chews on a low stick for a moment. You see that he has a combat shotgun slung across his back near his waist, and he seems to be sizing up. And as he kind of sizes up the team, his eyes kind of fall a little bit more on the power armor. He definitely raises an eyebrow at that, but as he definitely sees the strange Xeno get off the shuttle, he kind of goes, his he goes kind of slackjaw for just a second as he kind of deceives the thing, and before kind of recomposing himself. But he doesn't seem to be approaching you or anything. He just seems to just be waiting to see what's going to be happening here.
Yeah, that's fine. What Rika wouldn't know, but the rest of you would, is that Arix went with the main shipment of artifacts. She wants to make sure they were delivered properly and signed off. Mostly because she's also got to register the fact that a bunch of them didn't turn up, because she decided to throw them into the warp. Yeah, Zengu is a mutant.
Yeah, that's I was about to answer that character, but yeah, if my character would recognize that in character, but thank you.
Yeah,
That's why I spelled it out for you.
yeah, likewise you have heard there are various abhumans and or mutants. You've also seen that, like, there are a number of locations where there's obviously just, like, disregard for Imperial, like, normal Imperial tech and, like, certain artifacts of Xenos. You haven't really been there, but you have seen, at a glance, one of the sensory decks, and it's just full of xenotechnology, like, and a bank of xenotechnology. So, xenotechnology in and of itself is not uncommon here, whereas in the Imperium generally, it's like, the best you're going to get is like a flashlight or a statue, and that's only for a noble.
Yeah. So
People.
xenotechnology is basically commonplace in this station, and if anyone outside would know this, bad things would probably happen if this wasn't the Inquisition kind of thing.
Yeah, this is like, there's big Imperial seals everywhere, but like also, yeah, you might need to.
Why is such a punishing trick?
So this is the epitome of slap an aquila on it, it's fine kind of thing.
Yeah, like, you would know that the Yinderfell Inquisition, you would have been brought up to speed at least this much. The Yinderfell Inquisition deals with all three aspects of normal Inquisition. Because of its isolation, they can't really rely on outside influences, and they can't really support multiple orders. So they basically have to house everything in-house, which means they end up with a very weird system. You also know there is only one Inquisitor, as far as you're aware. That's something everyone knows, but no one really knows anything about him.
Alright, good to know.
So, but like, that's all you would know. You would also know the throne agent you're meant to be reporting to is a tech priest, Magus Arix. Don't know what school of Adeptus Mechanicus or anything like that. Just, but yeah. So, yeah, the scribes just kind of stand there. They look a bit sheepish. They kind of just want to see who talks first. Does the party approach them, or do they just like ignore these people and walk off?
Well, I would say yes. After all, we have a delivery for the inquisitorial storages.
Yeah, you've come in one of the more you've come in like as one of the main docking ports, whereas Arix has gone with the bulk of the cargo to a delivery port to drop it off. She wants to make sure the shuttle was here because it's kind of like a nice thing to show off. I mean, not everyone gets to run around with a Xeno shuttle under their command, so...
She just wanted to show off that she has one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
why not?
I do like this shuttle a lot too.
Yeah, Icarus would be looking for the person in charge, so he would ask the first, scribe or whatnot, who's in charge here?
Oh, here? No one. Interrogator Felix runs base. Yeah, yes, so. No. He kind of gives like an awkward. He like kind of raises his hand to salute, decides against it, and puts it down.
And are we here to speak to anyone in particular?
You're here to drop off your. So the main reason you've come here is to drop off your supplies. You would expect, yeah, the artifacts you collected. Aside from that, Arix is doing a sort of like a resupply. You heard she might be getting used, probably switching out agents. While you're her away team, she does have a number of support agents on supplying with her as well, and she's switching those out.
Okay. Well, we have some things to drop off here. Who do we need to speak to?
Oh, that would be. Oh yes, right. You're Suicide. That's yeah, right. So, Interrogator Felix is down in the cargo bay 7, taking a delivery from Suicide Cell, which is you guys, but you're also here. He's taking a delivery of artifacts down there, and expecting to see Throne Agent Arix. Throne Agent Maros, Magos Arix. Yeah, yes. I love this saga too much. Sorry.
Zetar saying this poor scribe kind of seemed to struggle a little bit, kind of like flicks his hat back and gives him an odd look. It's like, it's okay, buddy. Just here to drop some stuff off. Calm down a little
yes,
bit.
my lord. So, thing.
Right. I can see that's not gonna happen.
No.
So, who's in charge of this bay?
This bay, I'm just here to record your ship and the personnel coming off, which, yes, and then you have free reign within the clearance of your rank. He turns to one of the other scribes who's carrying a small box. The scribe opens the box and hands you all a small, it's a small, I don't want to say credit card, it's like a small disc with a little light on it. And there's also, on one side there's a light, on the other side there is a, scanner, a finger scanner. And the scribe will ask each, that scribe looks at each of you, hands you a disc. He seems a bit, not randomly take them out, but like they seem to be assigned to a person. The scribe you're talking to goes, these are your identification disc chips. They will allow you access through various stores within the rank of acolytes in this cell.
Well, thank you.
Is our business concluded?
Yes. We do request that you hand these back in once you leave. If you don't, we'll be calling up your throne agent to cover them. They're kind of they're not really contained secrets, but like we don't really like them getting out in case someone gets a hold of them.
Yeah, you just don't want somebody using our stuff to slip into place they shouldn't. Gotcha.
Yes, but also like yes. That's exactly yes.
Yeah, just don't ding up my ship too much. You're good.
We
Won't get any
have.
trouble out of me.
Unless you have any requests, we do not service ships.
Unless you can strap some guns on that thing. No rests.
One of the other guys who's carrying like a bundle of paperwork, like flicks through it, hands you a number of forms. The talking scribe goes, if you have any requests, fill those out, and we can service them. We can see to it while you are based here. Due to the nature of your ship, we might not be able to do certain things because.
Yeah, everything is different than what you humans are normal. I'm used to that whole thing.
Yes.
You're
He
fine.
doesn't seem phased that you're a Xeno, which is odd. He seems completely none of these four seem phased at all, but that you're a human. For reference, the fourth guy is jotting down various notes, and he's actually walked off and is walking around the ship jotting down notes.
Yeah. Zetar's not gonna press it.
Yeah.
A little bit of respect, or just treated like a normal person. Good enough. Slipping the papers handed to me into my jacket. Just take a step back. Take what I can get.
If you are after the interrogator, he is down in the loading bay 6. Aside from that, the facilities are at your use. If you have any directions or anything, now if you need directions, I can provide them. Aside from that, yes. Yes. Gosh, this guy. Sorry. I'm enjoying this guy.
Where can one find a bath?
So, he will give you directions to your quarters, which is easy enough, and your quarters are, we have a large number of, you each have your own individual room, unless you would like to share, which is totally fine, we can sort that out. Each room has a bedroom, small kitchen area, bathroom, basic facilities, as one would expect of, one would require as a acolyte.
And those rooms are probably less insanely gaudy than those on the Guild of Promise.
Yes, we do keep, we do like to keep things to a sort of, what is the term? Not basic, but simplistic look. It's not heresy, shush.
We were taught in Sister Battle School that you never share rooms. It's unbecoming, therefore heresy.
Actually, it's not. This is just one of those things people get into their heads. Sisters of Battle are not actually nuns.
Nope.
People just assume they are nuns because they look like nuns.
There might be some of the sub-orders that...
Yeah,
do-
certain orders probably are, but it's not actually written anywhere down in 40k lore that they are actually nuns and take custody.
They just happen to be a very religious, militant arm of the ecclesiarchy, because the ecclesiarchy are a bunch of technical lawyers.
Yes.
Yeah, and
It's
they have somewhere written they may not have men at arms.
Men at arms.
Yeah, and
Yes.
therefore
Nothing
they
about
have
women.
women at arms.
Yeah.
People at
Likewise, it's likewise people will assume that the Mechanicus don't have relationships, which is outside, they can have relationships just fine, like normal people, especially even with people outside. I mean, some of them will do weird things like vat grow their own children, but that's
That
Mechanicus for you.
seems normal to me.
There's an amazing picture somewhere on the internet of a couple, two Mechanicus, one male and one female, hugging, and there's just in front of them a small tube with a baby growing in it. It's great. It's amazing.
I mean, to be fair, a lot of the Mechanicus probably don't have the reproductive organs anymore.
No, some of them don't. Some of them do. It depends. Yeah, it's like an anniversary present. Oh, but yeah. No, the scribe will direct you to your rooms. Yes. Anywhere else? The canteen is open at all times. There are multiple based on the station because the station is quite large. You are free to. Food is served constantly. Sometimes they may be closed. That's the one. That is the one. It's just
No.
Thank you. I'm actually gonna put that up for another note.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Canteens are open all the time. They may be closed for an hour or two just to clean them all down, and etc. etc. We have a variety of foods. If you have certain dietary requests, we ask that you give the cooks some heads up beforehand and stick to certain ones, because just because, you know, certain canteens are certain canteens house additional facilities and such to accommodate such things.
Do they all serve meat?
Yes, they all serve various things. While the station does have a day-night cycle, facilities do not close at night cycles. It's just to allow people to have night cycles. It's more for us internal staff.
Mm.
Gosh, that one's also nice. That's thank you. Sorry.
I raise a hand. Is there an archive that we can get access to?
Yes. However, you will have to be accompanied by a archiver, simply because there is a lot of hidden and or unstable texts, and we don't really like cleaning up the archives. Well, the archivers complain if somebody has their head explode or something like that. It doesn't happen very often, honest. Like, it's only happened maybe twice since I've been here. Well, why am I saying been here? I was... Yeah, it doesn't happen very... Like, just forget I said. But there is archives. You are free to use it within your clearance. If you require a higher clearance level, you will have to take that up with your throne agents.
Is there any place specific I can look at ship parts in case I wanted to add a bit or two on while I'm here?
We have some refitting bays. If you wish to look there, you will have to deal with the Majoses there. However, they're not quite as radical as certain inquisitorial ones, but they're also not inquisitorial, Adaptus Mechanicus ones. But they're also still Mechanicus, so they're still a bit... You know how they are.
A friend. I'll phone a friend. Cool. I know mechanics are. They like to grab and touch everything.
There is a big obvious camera in your room. Like, there's just an obvious camera in the corner.
Alright. Well, I don't disable it.
Yeah, like, they've purposely put one there because, like...
Alright. I'm either sleeping in my ship or I'm
No,
doing
it's-
something about that camera.
Yeah.
If
like-
you
Wave at the camera.
if you ask, they say that it's only there in case there's an incident, and so they can check the archives.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when you have so many
Weird people.
unique personalities and highly dangerous artifacts on board a station, it can cause instances. And so we have to put cameras everywhere for it.
Yeah, but
If
kind
it
of like
makes...
sitting there sleeping with people watching you. It's kind of awkward. For Zetar, at least.
If it helps, you can disable the obvious ones. There are obviously spy cameras, but, like... Oh, yes.
Wish you hadn't told me that second part.
Yeah, like... There's no, like, little blinking red lights on them or anything, so if you, like, go and try and disable them, you can.
That's a positive. No blinking red light. Nice.
Yeah. At least they aren't annoying, kind of.
Yeah, no, they're not, like... They're smart, not assholes.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can go to your rooms. If you have any luggage, it can be brought up for you. You notice most of the personnel walking... A lot of the personnel seem to be wearing the purple robes. And, like, they all wear... The purple robes all have the sign of the Inquisitor on the front. Some have a higher level of gilding. There isn't many individuals like yourselves in sort of other clothing. Even the Mechanicus they wear red robes, but they have lots of purple trim on it. Even including on their the metallic, there's like purple trim. Rico, you would know that anyone with lots of purple on them, traditionally here means they are part of the staff on the station.
All right.
And you've been here maybe 2 to 3 weeks now.
Speaking of Rico, has he been housed in the same area as our squad?
No, he wouldn't have been because he would have been housed somewhere else. Although he is being transferred up to your area. If
Yeah, I
that
just
makes
figured I haven't been formally attached yet, as it were.
sense. No, like all your gang came here at the same time and slowly been filtered out into various cells. You're like the last one left.
All right.
So like, it's just as cells have come along, they've picked up they've like picked up one or maybe two and then left. You know, there's a bunch of other personnel like that about. Personnel is like rotated off here as well. Support personnel. You would have actually, yeah, you would have learned a little bit. You know that most cells operate. They have two main parts. One is an away team, which tends to be what the cell is. And the away team is like the ones that go into the fields and do all the shooting and that sort of stuff. Then there is a support team. Depending on the thrown agent, depends on what the support team is. They can be scribes, they can be scholars, they can be astropath. You have heard one of the support teams was like 5 Space Marines. You haven't seen them. They seem to be they're currently stationed here, but they're like in their own area.
Yeah.
But it's kind of been a big thing. There's like Space Marines on the station.
All right.
You know, it's like a big thing. There's like a support cell is like 5 Space Marines.
Interesting.
But yeah, I think the party just moved past you when they didn't like say anything.
Well,
Well,
he was away.
I did have to step out for a second, so like I had someone at my door, unfortunately. But if you'd like, we can do that now.
Yeah.
Or if you'd rather we move on.
No. Like they just like I think they just quizzed the one guy, one scribe who's just like.
Pop quiz nerd, what's up?
Exactly what we just did to this guy.
Alright, so once they're done like shaking down the scribe, Rico will kind of walk up and kind of like look the party over. He'll kind of like he kind of dwells on the power arm for a second, and he definitely looks over Zeno, but he'll turn over to someone who seems foremost, and he'll look at him.
That would probably
Get-
be
Icarus looked
Yeah,
up to-
Icarus is wearing.
Icarus walked off though.
Oh yeah, Icarus actually walked off.
That's him. But basically, talk to whoever's left.
When Zetar notices that this large, tall individual, large to him because he's half everybody's size, is eyeing him up, he kind of looks over like, well, hello there. See something?
They'll kind of look him over, and like he seems like as if he's still not exactly kind of gotten used to this. Like he could definitely saw him eyeing up like some of the Xeno technology, definitely looking over the shuttle. But he'll look over and it's like, now I worked with some freaks in my time, but you're the first person I saw look like that.
My special charm. Name's Zetar. He kind of like pushes his hand kind of up towards you, a little bit too far than would be like formal.
Just like
But
he
he's
kind
still
of-
awesome.
He kind of instinctively kind of backs off for a second, like you're carrying like a pox or a plague for a second, and like touching you would be like kind of like.
I like the idea that he like literally shoves it in your like. It's like only a few inches away from your face. Because he like just genuinely just doesn't know, so it probably Rico thinks he's actually going to be hit.
Yeah.
Well, I imagine not
does
that.
Xita have claws? Or...
He does.
They, like
He has a
small-
specially made Xeno hand cannon. it's just a hand cannon. Statistically, it's just
Yeah,
made
but
for
like
its monster.
he's got like small like his hat like is this small Xeno hat like this about like slightly small yeah. This hand is shoved into your face. It's covered in fine scales. They don't look rough or anything. They look quite smooth. But there is also like it's obviously not human. There's also small claws. Like there's no nails. There's just small claws.
Yeah, Rico goes like as he kind of like takes like as he kind of like jumps back for a half second, as if like almost as if he was anticipating getting attacked, and he kind of like his hand kind of like half dwells near his shotgun for a second before he kind of like looks around and see that no one else is reacting in any capacity. He'll kind of narrow his eyes at him through his welding goggles before kind of like standing up straight to his modest height, and all right. This is gonna be new, but name's Rico. He'll kind of like warily extend a hand towards you as if he's not sure he wants to actually touch you, but he doesn't want to, you know, but he doesn't quite want to like piss off someone he's gonna be working with. So he kind of like warily extends a hand forward as if he kind of has to, but at the same time he feels like touching you might rot his arm off.
Once Zitar sees that hand come out, he just like he grabs it. He's seen humans do this all the time before. It's normal to him. Shakes it kind of a little too hard. He hasn't gotten this down quite yet.
It's probably like the two hand. It's probably like the very fast two hands, like both hands grabbing it, very fast shaking it. That's what I imagine.
Yeah. As you kind of grab onto Rico's hands, his hand like kind of reflexively kind of tenses up, kind of like accidentally kind of digging like his fingernails into your hand for a second, as if like he just tensed up immediately after you did that. But like, but as he shakes his hand, he kind of like half shakes it, half tries to pull it away, before like, then when he does so, he'll kind of like shake his hand off as if like he just got like some dirt on it. But I kind of look over the rest of the teams again, it's like, what did I get myself into? But I guess anyway, at any rate, I'm the new muscle they hired on deal.
You do know that the cell is called Suicide Cell as well.
Lovely.
Yep.
If he hasn't, I will inform him of this. Sengu also offers his hand. This meaty paw also visibly clawed, despite the gauntlets,
Yeah.
which basically look like he could murder someone with.
Rico actually seems a lot more at ease with a mutant than a Xeno. He'll tell you like, yeah. He'll kind of like he'll take the clawed hand kind of carefully and he'll shake it like he kind of sizes you up. Second, and it's like, well, you're not the worst mutant I worked with. Better, well. So honestly, a new one that kind of looked a lot more like a snake. Had a fork tongue and everything, but well, it is what it is. But I suppose if we call it Suicide Cell and everyone's still back, guess we're either really good or really bad at our job. So I don't know what to think about that.
I do my best to keep them safe.
Hey, you do, big guy. Hey, you do.
No,
I haven't shot yet.
The scribe is like. Oh, sorry.
What was Rico's last command?
If we're called Suicide Cell and we're all still alive, we're either really good or really bad at our jobs.
I thought there was some response of him to Sengu claiming he's doing his best to keep them safe.
Well, I suppose the Xeno hasn't shot everyone in the back yet. It's probably all on the level as much as it can be.
Yeah, I'm normally too busy flying the ship. Plus, these guys are normally behind me, so.
Well, fuck me, I guess. So,
I
guess,
will
well,
not.
it's a pleasure to meet all of you, but I'll be honest, this is way more than I ever didn't sign up for.
I thought the same thing when I first signed on.
Most people.
I admit though, you got balls on you. If you're willing to work with these people, knowing that most of us would shoot you as soon as they look at you. But don't want to ask questions.
Hey,
It's
hey,
your business.
Hey, not all of us would shoot him.
Only
So
most
is-
of us.
I want to study him.
I'm sure that's a lot better than shooting at him. I'm sure. I'm sure you studying him involves a lot of scalpels.
That lovely girl right there is Scythia.
Hi.
Pleasure to meet you, Scythia, I guess. But, well, as much as these formalities are all nice, well and good, but what exactly are we doing?
This is just a standard drop-off stuff for us. Dropping off some artifacts, doing ourselves.
Yeah, I am getting a slight echo on Zetar. But anyways,
Actually, it's off with Deadlight.
Is it me?
Yep.
Oh, that's wait. Why is mine echoing? What's the flipping headset?
I have no idea.
yeah, you might want to adjust your sensitivity a little bit. Maybe that'll help.
Yeah, maybe. Oh, I need to...
I was watching the names when someone brought up the echo, and I saw Deadlight flashing every time someone talked.
Okay.
I heard mostly Sean and you, Serene Echo.
Either way, I think we've kind of gotten some improvement there.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. I'll mess with this. I didn't actually do it. That's the thing. I didn't do anything.
Well, then you're not doing everything. Did everything you were supposed to do.
Cool.
Congratulations.
If I do
Apparently-
anything-
Apparently, Discord's.
No,
Nope.
I'm getting echo off. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
What the hell?
Yeah, okay, it's back again. The last
You are,
Discord update
okay.
kind of messed with a few things, and from my experience.
Yeah.
That's what I was just
Okay.
gonna say.
Let me try and change the server location 1 second.
Oh, you take your time.
Okay. See if that works.
Let's see.
Yeah, it seems to be
Huh?
gone.
Could you?
Okay, since we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes just changing the server location fixes all of Discord's problems. Like, it's so weird.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but yeah, if you're not getting pings off of me, we're probably Echo's stuff.
Yeah,
Okay.
that definitely seems you, Frank.
Yeah.
So, Mika's gonna look over what you guys are exactly dropping off. What are you guys dropping off? Like, does it look like, is it something like a bunch of like trinkets and doodads, or what did you guys get? Does it look obvious, or is it just like in a crate?
They haven't brought anything. Like, they've only brought hand luggage and stuff.
Yeah. The real, really interesting stuff is dropped off by by the priestess with her own shuttle.
I see.
Right, shuttle.
Well,
It's her ship now.
Hmm?
Seneschal's dead. Arix's ship.
well, I trust you to trust one guy to do a drop off. Usually you send two to make sure to have them watch each other's back and, you know, make sure the job gets done. But, well, I'm sure it'll all either go well or we're all gonna get screwed. But hey, it is what it is, out of our hands now.
That's
Got
the right
bigger things to worry about than whether maybe something will happen. So, what's the gig exactly? Are we just kind of like fucking off and doing our own things, or do we still have to do something as a gang, I guess, or team? Gang. Don't know what term you use.
The scribe steps in at this point. Like, he's been like really like a few times gone to say something, and someone else is talking. He's like, he goes, the technical term is cell. As yeah, yes. I am not aware that Suicide Cell has any outstanding orders here. You may wish to talk to your throne agent. As I said, she's down in Hangar Bay 6. Cargo Bay 6, sorry. Yes, aside from that, you free to use the facilities for whatever means you might need. Ongoing investigations, or just general facilities. We do have a lot of state-of-the-art line stuff. Yes.
I saw, but this throne agent, that's our boss.
That is our boss.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
Chain of
first-
command is
Go ahead.
is someone like myself at the bottom. We're not full acolytes. We're more demi acolytes. We just provide assistance and facility for full acolytes, like yourselves, and then it is a junior throne agent, followed by a full throne agent, followed by a senior throne agent, then it is it would be the interrogator, and above that it would be orders directly from the Inquisitor. On site there is Interrogator Felix. He is in charge of the station. There is also Throne Agent Arix, Throne Agent Jackram, Throne Agent Alice. I believe that is all currently stationed here. I would have to double check.
Well, it's fine. Whoever. Well, if we got to keep Bossman happy, let's keep Bossman happy and not keep him waiting. Oh, whatever. Bossman, boss one, boss. It doesn't matter. If he's someone that can have us all killed if we piss him off. So, so might as well just keep the boss woman happy and just make sure nothing stupid happens.
Yeah. That's easier said than done with Suicide Cell.
I am up to the challenge of also then dying later for failing.
I still think the best death was a tech priest hacking into stuff after repeatedly failing to hack into stuff.
Oh my god.
After repeatedly getting hacked
That is
while
true.
trying to hack
The
stuff.
Spider Saga. Or what was it? Six Eyes? The Six Eyes Saga.
Sixes.
Success.
Gosh. I'm gonna roll tech use on 90. Rolls 300s in a row.
Damn.
Yeah.
Like, I can't do an investigation based on, like...
Mhm.
Anyway,
Well, I guess that's just it. Zinch wanted you to die. That's just it, man. There's no other way.
yeah, but anyway,
Moving on.
moving on, yep. So yeah, Icarus is just fucked off, that's what the rest of you want to do.
In this bathroom.
Yeah, he's just in a bath, reviewing information.
Well, Rico's gonna try to head down to this hangar bay where the throne engine is, and try to make sure that the boss is that everything's gonna get done with the boss before he does his own thing.
That's fine. So yeah, does anyone else go with him? Or do you
Yep.
want to go to your...
I will
Yeah,
actually
I'll
also have done that. If we're
Okay.
passing an armory or something like that on the way, I would try to get a helmet.
Helmet, yeah, you do pass an armory, they, look at you, the armorer is, like, again, he's actually, a tech priest, although he seems quite low ranking. He doesn't have any, servo arms. He's got some cybernetics, but he doesn't have any arms. He's wearing red with purple trim. He looks at you, goes, he fishes underneath his desk and hands you a number of papers. He's like, information, equipment is on request. So.
Yeah. I just what I was hoping for was a guardsman's helmet. Well,
We should,
nothing outstanding.
that is fine. We just got to keep records of everything.
Yeah.
While on station. If you can film, I'm sure we can be able to. Something as simple and easy as that. I'm sure we can get that fast track for you, sir.
Yeah. I will fill it out as good as I can.
Yeah, it's like, I'm not going to make you roll because it's really simple. Like, you're asking
Yeah.
for a helmet, it's super easy to...
Yeah.
Like, he looks over and is like, very well, that's good enough, sir. He takes it, he'll take it and say,
And I'm back. Sorry about that.
no worries, he'll take the paper, we'll have it delivered to your room once this has been successfully completed. So.
Just like. Would it be 3 points?
No, I'm just going to hand wave it. Like, it's not anything...
No. I mean,
Oh, yeah,
the helmet itself.
it'd be a flak helmet. Guardsman flak
Flak helmet, that is 2, right?
3.
3.
3?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think just I think Emus is just like awfully equipped because I hate you.
Yeah. Well, officially, if you get a flak helmet by itself, it's 2 points
Oh, I'm gonna say
for
it's
some reason.
it'll be
But-
off. It'll be off a suit of guardsman armor, like standard
Hmm.
issue guardsman armor. But yeah,
Okay.
that can be delivered to your room later.
Mhm.
Yeah. So yeah, you make your way down to the hangar. This is a much larger bay. Instead of the one you were just in was much more well kept. Like it's got much more important iconography on there. Like it's much more stylized and stuff. This one just seems to be much more service. While it has big Inquisitor symbols and stuff, they're kind of just painted on and they're flaking in places. Whereas the ones you were in were like stained, like actual like.
We came in through the representative bay, and this is just cargo bay.
Yeah, like, it's still very well kept, it's just, like, the paint's flaking in places, and, like, the insignia is, instead of being, stamped metal, it's just painted on, sort of thing. Like, it's not that big of a difference. I just thought I might note it. There are 3 large bulk transports here, currently.
Mm-hmm.
You recognise them all from the Gilded Promise, because they are all awfully painted. There is a number of crates being offloaded, and you can see Arix very easily, because she is the only person in power armor. So Rico, you see a figure. She is wearing brown power armor with gold trim, with red robes on top. She has several silver arms out of her back. The notable thing is she has she currently has a hood down actually, but she has bright purple hair. She is talking to a figure. He is wearing what is he? What would he be wearing actually? I don't know.
Probably as administratum robe similar to Icarus.
Yeah. I think Icarus is just having his own adventure.
He's just taking a day off on the
Yeah.
station.
I guess is gonna do everything too. She's gonna make a requisition check to have a rubber ducky.
Yeah.
That's what we're gonna have. That's the point we're at.
That's fine. Like he can get a rubber ducky.
Lucky you.
Mm-hmm.
You probably only have like a 50% chance with the influence rules being what they are.
Yeah.
It's probably no rubber duckies are probably scarce. Let's be real. We're moving on.
Oh, actually, that's quite a nice picture. I just got like a bunch of reserve pictures, so.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I got like 3 million tabs open at the moment. There we go. If I upload it onto Discord, then I can upload it without.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he's kind of like middle-aged man. He's wearing this black. That's not a trench coat, is it? It's
Looks like an officer's coat, like a.
It's
Yeah.
a waistcoat.
Yeah, it's a black waistcoat with red and silver armor. No, scrap that. The red bits are purple.
Mhm.
I just found this in like 5 minutes, so it's not exactly.
Yeah, no, it's not.
So where it's red on that, it's purple. He doesn't bear any insignia at all, which is something you note on some of the few people Rico, you would have seen. The few people who do wander around that aren't in the purple robes and stuff do tend to be walking around without insignia, or like the insignia is quite obscure.
Would I understand this to be someone like akin to like a field agent, or would this just be someone who is important enough to be nondescript?
You would actually, you've very briefly met, or you didn't meet him. He was there when you were first dropped off.
Okay.
So he's certainly important enough to be nondescript. You have a feeling that this is the throne agent. This is the interrogator.
Okay.
Yeah, he's dressed like that, so in sort of, it's more ceremonial armor than anything. Arix is walking around in a bloody power armor because it's Arix. She's in show-off mode at the moment, so. But the two of them seem to be talking. There are a number of scribes kind of like awkwardly hovering there, kind of wanting to talk to them, but also not interrupt them because they're... One's in power armor, one's the person who runs the station.
Yeah, so basically boss and big boss right here.
Yeah.
Just so.
So yeah, they're talking. You can approach them if you wish, or you can like wait. What do you guys?
Zetaro's gonna kind of move up to the line of the scribes and just wait.
Yeah, Rico's gonna get close but wait. He's not about to interrupt the boss and big boss as they're discussing whatever is important.
Yeah, Arik seems to be discussing the fall of... I want to say that the old cell was Blacklight. I can't remember what it was.
Oh, was this the cell that Icarus and myself were a part of?
Yeah, I can't remember what it was called.
I think Blacklight will work.
Yeah, Blacklight.
I like it.
Yeah, Arik is discussing Blacklight, saying how she's recovered a number of personnel from it, as well as most of the artifacts they were transporting. She states that one of them had to be destroyed due to the fact that it destroyed Blacklight and its ship. She has disposed it in the safest way possible, which is to throw it into the warp and hope someone else deals with it.
I thought we voided the ship.
You voided the ship. She sent teams back onto the ship, found the crystals were still on there, so stuck them all next to the warp core and did a controlled detonation.
Okay.
I think that was the one you missed when I explained that.
Yes. Yeah, because Malwarebytes decided that the fact that this was going to a Central European server meant that it was malware.
Oh well. No.
Anyways, what happened with the... what was the ship's name? Something like Mysterious Catastrophe or something?
Yeah. The ship itself. So yeah. You can gather this by just listening to them. The ship, after it was voided, and essential personnel were evacuated, Arik did a recovery mission trying to recover some of the escape pods and recover several more of the personnel. She then sent teams on board, where they found the creatures, the crystal creatures, to go into a stasis, a sort of, they cocooned, or stasis, like put themselves in stasis. So she took them, stuck them next to the warp core, took all the remaining crystals, stuck those next to the warp core, recovered any more artifacts that were on the ship, then had the warp core do a controlled detonation, so it destroyed the ship, and the warp crystals. As well as the creatures. As best as she could, which was to send it into the warp. So, she's explaining that, as she says she will give a full report on what was exactly recovered, as well as the personnel. It's at this point Felix kind of glances over and sees, like, the people, like, you guys there, seems to not be fazed by the fact, like, there's a Xeno and a mutant standing there, and says, very well. It seems your cell has turned up. I shall expect a full report later. I will have to obviously inform the Inquisitor of the loss of Blacklight cell. However, the fact that you were on hand, you were close by, and were able to recover the artifacts is something at least. The fact that these crystals were so potent is worrisome. He turns and walks away. Arik then turns to you guys. He's like... Doesn't say anything, she just turns to you guys.
Would I have met Eric's before, as we go?
No, you would not have met Eric's. You'd have been given a description of she's a tech priest who drinks lots of recaf and has purple hair.
Okay. So, would I assume that my orders to link up with Suicide Cell were from her, or from the throne agent, or what exactly?
Your orders were handed to you by a scribe, but they were signed by Interrogator Felix. And they would have been to meet up with this person and this cell.
Alright, so Rico's just gonna nod at Eric's as kind of closes. So, boss, I've linked up. I'm here with Suicide Cell under order from Interrogator Felix. I assume, did everything go well? I'm not exactly sure what I'm supposed to be doing here.
Yes, everything went well, as well as can be expected. I have to give a full report later, but that's beside the point. I expect Suicide Cell to bring you up to speed. We will be continuing our investigation. We will most likely be continuing our investigations into the unseen hands. I'm sure your fellow your fellow acolytes can bring you up to speed. I suggest you guys have a look at the archives here, see what we have to hand to access. If there is going to be any obscure or redacted information, it's going to be here. If you need additional clearance, please alert me to it.
Got it, boss.
I'll take a look.
I know.
She nods, and then there's like the facilities, as I'm sure somebody's already told you, the facilities are Throne Age, Inquisitional, so they are to be used as within reason. If you have requests, you may try and get it here. Don't hold your breath. There's still a level of bureaucracy here, but it's nowhere near as bad as, say, a normal hive or somewhere like that. That is all. She then seems to go back to, like, unless any of you have anything?
No, Rico's content to leave her go.
Can we get her a comm beat frequency so we can just easily ping her without having to go interrupt her while she's doing something?
You already do.
Alright, I didn't know if we had it or not, I was just making sure.
Yeah, you normally do, it's just, like, she tends to be up in orbit where combis are out of range.
Yeah, that's why I was asking for this specific instance.
The times when she's, like, not in, like, when she's within combi range, you have been able to contact her. It's just, normally she's, not, so.
Alright. As long as we have it, that's good.
This station is, like, massive, by the way. Those of you with any sort of admech tech would also realize that while there's a lot of xenotech here, there is also there's areas where the station seems to be archaeotech as well.
Fancy.
Fancy.
I mean, this is like the Inquisitor's HQ here.
Yeah.
Like the Inquisition's whole base for the entire sector. It's going to be fancy. So yeah, she leaves you to your own devices. Icarus goes to a canteen.
Yeah, he's trying to just overhear Eddie scuttlebutt, try to figure out what's, what the morale is currently.
Morale seems to be fine. A lot of the people there are just on-site staff. If that makes sense.
Yeah, makes sense.
Purple robed individuals. Roll me a D10. No, roll me a D20. 7.
You did say a D10, right?
I said a D20 actually.
I know. You rolled a 7. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I love when that happens.
You actually spot someone who is not part of. Well, he's clearly not part of the cell. You spot. Who do I want at 3? Nothing. Do you know what? I know who I threw at you. You spot a you say he was an arbiter. Sort of. He basically is an arbiter. Like proper, not like enforcer. He's like proper enforcer. Arbiter's carapace with all the seals and stuff.
Okay.
Big fox pattern shotgun on his back. Paramore on his hip. Seems like overcharged. He's taken off his helmet. He's like comes in a bit after you. Carefully takes off his helmet, sits down, has a reasonably simple meal. He does eye you up a bit, like gives you a few glances.
I nod.
Mhm. He nods back. He's very obviously not like local staff, if that makes sense.
So what brings an operator to this place?
Food. He decides to not give you a smoking answer. He's like, well, I like the food in this particular canteen. Which cell are you from, might I ask?
Well, I am currently with Drone Agent R.
Alright.
And yourself?
Ah, your suicide cell. I am under Throne Agent Elise, whose cell name I have forgotten. I don't think I actually gave it a cell name. Thunderhammer.
Thunderhammer?
Mhm. Sorry, just made this.
It's fine.
Okay. Yeah, I'm from Thunderhammer. We are stationed here temporarily to resupply.
Oh,
A
same
few,
here.
A few support agents have unique equipment, and it can only be resupplied in certain places. One such place is Void Base Savarov.
Oh, I see. I have no idea what he's talking about, but I pretend I do.
You probably get the impression that he's like maybe talking about plasma arrow or something, or like melter weapons.
Oh, okay.
Like, things like that. Unusual ammo or sort of thing.
What area of space have you all been in lately?
An area of space which the GM has forgotten. God damn it.
I'm trying to figure out if he's been where we're going to be going.
He's been. We've been operating the Weathered Outlands.
Is that anywhere near where we're going?
I actually have to open the map now. So 1 sec. I have genuinely forgotten because I haven't looked at the map in a while.
It's not ringing any bells for me.
It would to you guys, but none of you are there.
Which area? Yeah?
Weathered Outlands. That's not the right map.
I remember the Weathered Outlands, but I don't quite remember what's actually there. I remember setting it up.
Oh, you're actually in the Weathered Outlands because I'm stupid.
Oh, that's where we are now?
Yeah, you're in the current section. I think.
So you haven't had to go far.
No. Been mostly operating in the current region.
What's the normal protocol for different cells talking to each other? I'm guessing that our missions are all secret.
Yes. I imagine there are certain aspects of your investigations that you might want to ask about with other cells, which I think is fine. I honestly don't know. Personally, this is our first major stop here. Although, you're with Suicide Cell, right? You must be new.
Yes.
Yeah, we recently encountered Suicide Cell. Perhaps it might be worth arranging a meetup. I think a bit of an update might be worthwhile.
Sure. I can. When would be convenient for your cell?
Tomorrow's day cycle in the morning.
Right, that should be fine. Well met. I am Icarus Yagsby.
I am a person who I don't think I actually ever gave a name.
If you want to have him reassigned, could be Killian.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm Killian. I used to be part of Suicide Cell, although I then went under Jackram's cell, which was what did Jackram call his cell?
Fancy hat. I don't know.
Fancy hat.
Fancy.
Fancy. I actually know. He would have gone to Buttercup Cell, which is a very old reference, which I don't think even Harrison would remember. I was when Jackram set up his cell. I can actually ask you. What am I on about?
Wasn't Anaximenes his cell?
Oh yeah. Oh, but yeah, Amaximinus.
So you're an old hand at this, then, huh?
Yes. I was under RX for a while before going to Jackram's Aximinus, and then I got transferred to Thunderhammer. So, I've been in a number of different cells, but I think it might be worthwhile having a bit of a meetup tomorrow.
Yeah, that sounds fine. Did he say what time in the morning? Like after breakfast or something like that?
10 p.m.-ish, sort of thing.
Okay.
Like, not too early in the morning, but like after breakfast sort of thing.
Okay. And I'll chat with him for a little bit, and the first chance I get, I'll use my my comm beam to inform the group that we have been requested to meet with Cell Thunderhammer tomorrow after at 10 o'clock.
He is like, I'll. He does. He also actually has to do a call. He gives you a meeting, one of the conference rooms, but it seems quite far away from where you currently are.
Okay. Are you stationed far from here?
Certain members of our cell. It will become apparent tomorrow morning.
Okay. I just kind of give him that squinty eye and say, "Oh, okay."
He kind of like.
I just like I'm trying to figure out what he's trying to say.
Yeah. He kind of like gives a bit of a smile, like he has a joke, but which he finds like he's sort of like laughing to himself. If that makes sense. He's like.
Okay.
I think I know what you're doing.
Yeah. I know what I'm doing as well. But you're not there, Zetar, so you can't say anything. Like, this is what our Icarus gets when he wanders off. So yeah, what the rest of you do? You have... It's maybe sort of midday on the day-night cycle, but like you can do stuff in the night as well. Like, you have maybe 6 hours of doing stuff today.
Off to doing more research.
Okay, that is fine. Does anyone go with you?
I'll go with him for now.
What do you plan to research?
Well, I'm planning. I'm going to do the best to pick up with the research that I was doing before I lost all of it.
Okay, that's.
Oh, it's that type of research? I'm a step away from that.
Okay,
No, I am not. I'm not performing dissections. I'm just doing a lot of reading and note taking.
I'm gonna be reading
It's
over
real.
Bob
He's
Hunter.
not performing
I think-
dissections. He's performing vivisections. It's different.
I think Xita was rather referring to that sort of research that gets you in conflict with those crystal creatures.
Yeah, I thought you might have been doing that as opposed to, like.
Well, yeah, I'm good. I actually posted it in the chat on the table. The research I'm focusing on is I want to know more about what Zetar is. What's been written down and documented. I want to read up on that so I know things. I also do want to read up if there is anything available on the Xenos that we did run into back in my first session. Those nasty things.
Yes, okay, that's fine. So, the archives are massive. The station itself is massive and it has, shuttle, actual roads and stuff, because this is not a small... It's more like a city, honestly. That just so happens to be in the middle of nowhere. The archives themselves have roads. In certain places have roads. Because they are that massive. When you are greeted by a scribe. She's wearing the purple robe, purple clothes. Brain. She's wearing a purple jacket, actually. She's wearing more practical clothing, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to wearing robes and stuff, she's wearing actual trousers and a jacket. It's still, it still matches, it's still clearly part of the same uniform, it's just more practical. She has that one cybernetic which gives you, ability to do the tech stuff, I can't remember now.
What type of tech stuff? There's a few.
The one that gives you a boost to writing. It's her one hand seems cybernetic and it can split into
Oh, it has.
quills.
It's an autoquill, maybe.
Yeah, it's not the auto. There's a cybernetic like that, but I can't remember what it is.
Scribe's tiles?
That's the one. So her one hand is cybernetic and is clearly designed to be able to do a lot of writing. She's got an MIU port and a few cybernetics in the back of her neck and the back of her head. You sort of have to go to a small yeah, it'd be kind of like offices and warehouses, honestly. So yeah, when you get there, you're directed to an office. She greets you as I am Scribe Meris. How may I assist you, my lord?
Hi, I'm here to I'm here to do some research on Xenos.
Very well. That's a very broad subject. There are multiple warehouses of that. Can you be a bit more?
Yes.
Yeah.
Zetar, what Xenos race is Zetar again?
I am Arcula.
Fuck yeah.
Yep. I need to do research on that one.
Arclia.
Yeah, Archeo. And I also need to do research on and the name of the Xenos race the Xenos that we encountered.
You don't actually know the name.
Oh, okay then. It would be then I basically would look for anything written on like battle reports, that sort of thing about mysterious Xenos that have a certain battle, a certain combat doctrine, and I basically describe in the best detail that I can what this combat doctrine is.
Yeah, when you are, she her hand flicks open and she's typing on a data slate really quickly. She's very well. Searches do take a lot longer. They have to go into the conscious data banks and servers have to go find them and stuff like that. The Arcanist stuff, however, there are a number of records which are relatively easy to hand. There will be a bit of travel, so if that's fine.
Excellent.
That's fine. I'm assuming you're just after general biologist standard stuff and general practice history.
Yes, that is correct.
Yep, that is fine and within reason. I can give you access to that, my lord. She goes into a car park sort of area. There are a number of sort of like little jeeps. They're more like golf carts, honestly. She climbs in one, drives you out there. It's a bit of a drive, and you're like through warehouses. All the warehouses seem to be completely unmarked. However, she seems to know exactly where she's going. And you do see like other like these golf cart things going around, and like other scribes. You do spot.
I'm just taking it all in, and I'm just so happy.
Yeah, like there are literally warehouses, but like at one point you see the doors open, and you can just see the warehouses are just full of like shelving units and stuff of like records, like. Yeah. You do know there's a lot of security around in places as well. Automated security, so like gun turrets and stuff, as opposed to people standing around. And some of the buildings are like clearly more like vaults than warehouses. But she eventually drives you up to one. She parks. She goes in. There's a little cogitator bank next to like sort of stand-up IKEA like information desk. She types something in really quickly. She's like, very well. Walk through. There is just hundreds of records, probably in this one warehouse alone. And then when she gets to a spot, you actually realise there's a lot of instead of ladders, they're actually like the scribes physically have to climb up the like shelving and stuff. So when she gets to the right area, she just starts climbing up the shelving. But like it's been designed so that there's like rails everywhere and stuff. So she like climbs up, pulls out a few records, climbs back down, and hands them to you. It's like all the records are chips. If you try to remove them if you try to go into any cargo bay or anything like that, it will alert security and they will prevent you from leaving off-site. If you need copies of records, that can be provided. Aside from that, yes.
Excellent.
I now imagine this Archival tech priestess to have like climbing mechadendrites.
She's not a tech priest, she's a scribe, but she's got like her gear is certainly designed for like climbing up sort of thing. Like her boots have like grip and like metal clamps, she's got climbing gloves on them, she's got like a pouch of chalk so she can rub it in her hands. There's like small bars on every row so she can has plenty of handholds. She's got like a shoulder bag so she can put records in. It's being clear, it's clearly might not be the most practical, but it's certainly when you use many, sort of thing. Yeah. But yeah, she hands you a bunch of records. Were you after anything in particular?
I just for Arcula, it's just more of Arcu. I'm basically familiarizing myself more with exactly what this kind of Xenos is because I've never seen one before.
Yep. Okay. Well, there's past history, which is a number of up until about 30 to 40 years ago. Not much had been changed with them, and a lot of our old studies and research are related with their former master and such. There is not as much known about their more recent history, where they've been developing their own society and stuff. We do try to keep on top. I believe there is some documentation being worked on currently. I can get you a copy of that. It might not be 100% accurate or proofread or whatever. I can have that delivered to your room.
Excellent. I will take that. As for the battle reports, it's more of just basically like seeing like just scrolling over like what has been documented, or like seeing like getting a feel for the tactics, like better feel for the tactics like that these Xenos use, best ways to combat or prevent them, and basically like and I'm also writing down the own notes of my own observations with them, and basically I'm considering adding that to the collection for the purposes of further study and research.
Yes, any and all research is... It's always nice when Throne agents are donating their research and various things. It's encouraged. It allows future generations to continue to keep the Imperium safe, of course. Yes.
I should ask Artrix if she managed to locate any personal belongings we may have left on the ship and retrieve them before she scuttled it.
Yeah. As I said, she sent a bunch of teams on there. If there was anything you left on there, she has recovered it for you.
Yay! That means I have my research.
Yeah, you have your research. What was your research on, by the way? Just out of curiosity.
So Scythia, she's done a lot of Xenos research because the type of Ordo Xenos Inquisitor that she last was following was a Xenos Hybris, which is a kind of Inquisitor. It's a type of Ordo Xenos subgroup that believes in using Xenos to advance the Imperium rather than seeing them as just they need to be purged because the form of mankind is the most perfect being and anything less than that must be destroyed. These races have come up with some things that actually would be beneficial to us, and so it's working with them, like studying them and basically like not being like, oh, Xenos, blam.
Yeah. So yeah, no, that's entirely fine. Yeah, no, that's fine. Of course, yeah. Sorry, your previous before Blacklight was exterior to Yunderfell.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, as you can obviously see, like Suicide Tower has, like the Inquisition here uses Xenos.
Yeah. So yes, it is definitely sort of in line with her own philosophy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's totally within reason. She's like, yeah. Can I have an idea of what sort of research you'll be doing so I can alert the necessary scribes?
She goes into detail about some research she was doing on that she managed to coordinate with a maiden world of Eldar that have a particular practice, and that it was just something that really interested her and her previous Inquisitor, and basically these were the notes that she was working on and that sort of thing. It was a lot of like the basically because you have for meta maiden world Eldar are essentially Amish Eldar. So this particular maiden world had that tradition of where I'm blanking on the name exactly, but basically young Amish can go out into the city, experience all the stuff like that, and then they can choose to leave or they can choose to go back, that sort of thing. I'm blanking on what exactly the name of it is, but that's essentially what this craft world had a practice of, and with there being a nearby Imperial system, they tended to go to mingle with humans who sort of observe them, and then kind of realize, the Monkey are stupid, and I'm going to go back to this world. I'm going to go back to my maiden world.
That's fair. Humans in the Imperium are stupid. 90% of the time.
Yeah. So that's where she was stationed. That's where she was basically doing her research and observations and that sort of thing.
Yeah. She's like, oh, very well. Would you like me to see if there's any related records to it?
Well, that actually would be fantastic. The more I can add to it, the more we know. You know what I mean?
Yes. We tend to try to get a lot of records from other Inquisitor cells as well to keep here. Due to the isolation, when we do have opportunities to transfer knowledge, we do try. So we often end up with a lot of records for irrelevant or not as relevant species to the Interfell Expanse.
Mhm.
We have a lot of, for example, we have a lot of records on the Xenos of Tau, but they are on the far side of the galaxies to us.
That makes sense.
It's just the way we gather information. We try to get whatever we can, and as you can see, she kind of just gestures. We end up with a rather lots, but that does make our job easier when, that one occasion it does pop up. We have everything we need.
Excellent.
Yes, any records that I can give to you, I will have delivered to your room. She, like, when you came up, she did scan your little disc you were given.
Mhm.
I can get that all delivered. If there is anything I can't, I will send a note to your room so you can contact your throne agent, or, if necessary, the interrogator.
All right. Thank you so much.
No worries. She will then drive you back out so you can, like, get your own transport. If any of you ask, you are issued cars. They're kind of like crappy, like, smart. They're kind of not particularly designed for carrying lots of stuff, but, like, you know, they're good enough for driving around a station.
I actually would, since I apparently have a long ways to go tomorrow.
Yeah, like, if you need bulk transport or anything, you can just ask and it can be delivered. There is a level of room keeping. They won't deliver, like, food and stuff to your room, but, like, if you request for certain facilities to be booked or whatever, they can provide it.
Cool.
Yeah, is anyone else doing anything?
I would actually like to try to get a weapon for my ship.
Okay, you go to you're directed to one of the maintenance bays. There is a Magos there. Well, okay, there's a number of tech priests around that are wearing all the traditional red with purple trim, which is not traditional, but standard here. Then there is one Magos, which stands out because he is wearing complete purple.
No.
His robes are completely purple. He does not have the Inquisition seal on it. So, he does seem to be the highest ranking because he has the most mechadendrites. He's got 5. And he seems to be overseeing the refit of a number of Valkyries. Like 4 Valkyries are all being refitted.
Right. I'll approach him, I guess, since he seems to be the person to talk to.
He turns, gives you a funny look, and is like, "Can I help you?"
Yes. Magos, is it?
Mm-hmm.
I'm Zetar Rex. I get, like, the standard greeting out of the way real quick.
Yeah.
Zetar doesn't deal with people much like this, so let's get that out of the way. It's like, I came to ask if you had any spare weapons laying around that I could take a look at, because I'm looking to get my shuttle armed. Just in case the need arises, I would like to be able to defend my squad when we move out.
I do not keep spare weapons. However, I do keep on hand a number of equipment for refitting.
Right.
Was there something you were particularly after?
One thing that I specifically would like to get, I'm not sure if you're going to be able to fulfill it, but I will ask anyways. Do you have any autocannons that I might be able to procure?
Autocannons. Yes,
Yeah.
Was there a particular number you wished?
Just one for now. I don't have quite enough resources to go all out. I just need one, something to at least hold our own if we needed it.
Very well. A single autocannon can be arranged to be fit. Is there something? I'm assuming that because you are a
Arcula.
that was not the term I was going to use, but whatever. Because you are a Arcula, as you put it, your ship is not of standard nature.
It is not. It's as other people that I've heard look at it say, it is kind of a mixing of Imperial and Xenotech.
That I can work with at least. I will have to have a look at it. The refit may take some time, depending on how far it has diverged from standard Imperial. the single autocannon can be easily fitted. Did you want it turret mounted or just hull mounted?
If it can be turret mounted, that'd be preferable.
Okay. Well, I can assess the ship for you. What I can be fitted, I will suggest. He pulls out. Actually, no. One of his mechadendrites comes down. He's like, "Can you just provide your disc, please?"
Yeah. He pulls it out of his coat, slots it
scans
or
it.
whatever's needed.
Yeah, it's more like a scanner. It like, ding. You like this does occur whenever you go anywhere. And like ask for anything. Like people will scan it. He's like, very well. Was there anything else? Arcula?
For now, no. I was just more worried about getting something so the ship can defend itself. That is all. If you have the time for it.
Yes, I can understand that, and I shall see what can be done. Very well. Good day. And he just turns and goes back to he was like just overseeing.
Zitar kind of stands there, like he's a little bit confused. Like normally conversations take a little bit longer. Just kind of shrugs and goes about his day. He's not quite sure. It was much quicker than he expected.
Welcome to this place where like they're not used to Xenos, but they're kind of like more steeled against it. If that.
Yeah. But Zitar is also more used to like people kind of like staring at him, asking him random questions, like, "Oh, what's this? What do you do for this?" You know, just like random things. So that was kind of like refreshing.
Yeah.
A little bit confusing.
That's fine.
That's all I wanted to do.
Yeah. Is there anything else anyone wants to do for the next 6 hours?
Did anybody reply to my message that we were invited to meet with another self?
Oh, no.
One of the people that you do sometimes work with, one of your sort of, like support officers, is Jenny. She responds as like, very well. She's been down on the ground team a few times. She's not always down. She's something of a tech expert. She's the daughter of a Magos, which you have for various reasons. She says she'll join you.
Zitar will message you and that he will join you.
Actually, Zitar, Zengu, and my brain switched off.
Skitia?
Oh, Skitia. Juliet, or if that's what Rachel's playing now, Juliet. You will know Thunderhammer to be the cell you met not too long ago. They're the ones you met on the planet where you talked about the relentless retribution.
Yes.
I'm trying not to ruin the surprise.
That's it. I know it's you.
Those ones.
Yeah. Yep. It's that cell.
So, the one of Free Captain Alice's office.
Yes, it's the one of the free captain.
Right.
So yeah, once you have finished, if no one else has anything they want to do, you retire for the evening. Next morning, I assume you get breakfast.
And I'll get a larger ride for all of us that are going together to wherever it is we're going.
Yeah, you're going pretty far. And you actually...
If it matters, I'm actually trained in operate surface. So
it doesn't.
I'll
It's
drive.
like just like basic driving.
Yeah.
Zitar is trained to operate everything from a void ship all the way down to a car. He has some training, a little bit of everything.
Operate bicycle.
Yep, you got it.
Operate Segway.
I will pay experience for it if I have to.
No. So yeah, you go. You are actually stopped at a checkpoint on the way. There's not many checkpoints on the road. You are stops, and they sort of scan it. The guy does come on the vehicle and scans each and every one of them. Arix does come along as well. You've actually got like a probably wouldn't be a Chimera. It's probably just more like a bus, honestly.
Party bus.
Yeah, it's just a bus. he scans each and every one of you. He's like, very well. He seems a little bit confused at like seeing you all, but he's like, very well. And you're flagged through. You pull up. You notice that. Actually, everyone, give me a awareness test. Let's make you roll some dice for this session.
Works for me.
What sort of test?
Awareness. Like, sort of looking around.
The one is coming right up.
Is this one of the only characters I have that don't?
I see everything.
You see everything. You see.
I also see something.
Yeah, well, you two would actually. You see what you were expecting. I wasn't going to say anything because it's you two and you're like expecting us.
Mm.
Cynthia and Rico, you both notice around here the doors are a lot larger.
Doors
And
are
also-
Ah.
Yep, the doors are a lot larger. They're more designed for something like an ogre to move through easily than like a human.
I see.
And
Okay.
also a few, like, what you would expect to be like, like a few buildings have like big shutters. The building you pull up to, there is actually a rhino parked up outside. It's all in black, no insignia. You've seen like one or two in places, but like, there's one parked up outside. The building you go into does have a big shutter door as well. Check is revealed, yes. No, there's a big shutter door that's actually closing it's just closing as you park up outside.
Oh, this is gonna be fun.
Yeah, it is. Like,
God.
like the building seems like normal, but like a few places you notice like some of like the door handle, like things like door handles are like designed for something that's a bit bulkier than a human,
Mhm.
and like they don't know they wouldn't have dents. What am I on about? They're just designed for someone that might be larger than a human, if that makes sense, like an ogre. But it's not like impractical to use. It's not like ogre proofed, if that makes sense.
Gotcha.
Well,
Everything
pro-
is just doubled up on.
Yeah, it's kind of odd.
I mean, it's probably still open proof.
It's probably no, not really, because they're not actually like ogrins.
Hmm? I mean, I know what they are keeping. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, but not everyone else does.
Hmm.
So I'm trying to keep it a surprise.
Yeah.
We'll get on out, and I guess is there either open the door or ring the doorbell, whatever protocol.
Yeah, there's like a sort of a front desk. The person is like, very well, present your IDs, scans them all.
Yep.
It's like, very well, conference room 1 then. She gestures to a side door.
Thank you.
You open it. There are a number of things in here. First off, you notice there are 3 individuals. There's one in a detective's cloak, brown detective's cloak, sort of like a private eye sort of style hat, smoking, kind of lurking in the corner, bit of a light from his cigarettes. Not too much. Sat at kind of near where you enter, she kind of stands up and smiles. Greetings.
Hmm.
Good to see you
Hello.
here.
Captain
Good to see
Alice.
some of you. This is Captain Alice. Free Captain Alice.
Nice to meet you again, Alice.
She nods. Nice to meet you guys again. She is wearing that ridiculous outfit.
I still love that outfit.
It's amazing. I think it's amazing that she's like just a free captain that just has the air of Rogue Trader. There is I've completely forgotten his name now. Sorry, Gray.
Killian.
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 You
Killian is
can-
like an full plate armor, carapace armor. Probably helmet's off, most likely.
Mhm.
Sat down on the table. And then you get to the more interesting individuals. A number of chairs are just bigger because a number of the individuals are just bigger. 2 of them are full-blown Space Marines in power armor. One appears to be having a bolter and a power sword. Another one seems to have a shield as large as him, so that's probably about 7 or 8 foot tall, like massive thing, propped up against the wall. There is a gosh damn it, I've forgotten. Tech Marine. He's got a number of mechadendrites. Do any of you have tech use? I know
I
do.
those of you who do, you note that his his mechadendrites are some of them have xenotech built in. Most notably, he has a sort of plasma cutter, which is definitely xeno.
I actually have Forbidden Lore Xenotech now.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
I mean,
like,
you have been there when he explained why he has that stuff.
yep.
I was just saying that in case I could make a test for anything extra that we would have missed last time, because I don't think anybody had it before.
He explained why he had it.
Yeah, right. It's been a while as well, so.
Did I actually? I'm sure I described these guys, and I can't remember where I described them.
I think you did it in voice, and if you did type it out, I think you typed it out in roll 20.
No, I didn't. I know I wrote it down. Oh, God damn it! I hate it that I can never find my own bloody notes.
I keep them all in a notebook that I have, like, nestled right next to my bed. And again, I barely keep notes.
Ah, okay. Yeah, there is one who is just wearing a simple black robe. You can't see his armor anywhere. He doesn't seem to have it. And there is one who has a very strange jump pack that's sitting on the floor, because it has literal fans in it, like little motor fans. Like
Alrighty, so how many Marines are there then?
Oh wait, there's actually, sorry, I've forgotten. There should be 6 Marines. There is one none of you have seen before. This he's actually, instead of wearing the black armor like the others, which is completely insignia, this one is actually wearing. He does have. It's mostly signеtless, but on his one shield he has. On his one pauldron he has the symbol of a winged broken sword. And his helmet has a skull on it, as opposed to anything else. He seems to carry some sort of strange mace on his hip. That is the one none of you have seen before.
Hmm?
Also, standing near the... So this meeting room has something that's a bit odd. It has a large shutter door, because standing in one of the corners is a dreadnought.
Remind me, dreadnoughts are those basically
Boxes.
mini mechs with
They are.
near-death
It is a.
Space Marine in.
Yep, it is a space marine on the verge of death who has been encased in a sarcophagus and mounted into a walker.
Yes, typically being a dreadnought is a great honor. They don't turn just any space marine into a dreadnought.
Yeah. Also, it's quite hard to turn someone into a dreadnought because they tend to die.
Yes,
Um.
except for Bjorn the Fell-Handed.
Oh yeah, but then again, behind the foul hand, it's just like, I want to actually fight. Please
No,
stop
just-
waking me up to do nothing.
Please stop waking me up just to tell stories. You keep interrupting my dream. Twins they were.
Yeah.
So I kind of look around, and all these guys are like set up for a fight of some kind.
Some of them, one of them's in robes.
Can I roll sinus science to see if he's a psyker? See if anyone
sure.
here is a psyker.
Sure, you can.
Any modifiers?
Just.
Just normal.
Yeah, just normal. I'll tell. I like secret modifiers. You. It's hard to tell because, like, it's not normal, but you get the feeling that the dreadnought, actually, you wouldn't even know it's a dreadnought. Like,
Yes, I have. Like
it's a big,
in
massive.
Yeah, it's just a miss of like I have knowledge in specifically Imperium, so I have like a vague idea like what the Adeptus Astartes is. I don't know anything specific.
Yeah, okay. You would know that there are Space Marines, and they have different chapters. Beyond that, you wouldn't really know. People at the Imperium does know, like most Imperial citizens probably would know what a Space Marine is. That's not outlandish. What you wouldn't know is for things like there are traitor Space Marines. You probably know there are different legions, but you wouldn't really know anything about them. You might be able to name like one or two, but like that's about all you could do. You wouldn't be able to tell their insignia or anything like that unless it was.
That would be, I mean, there is specifically forbidden lore Adeptus Astartes.
Yeah, and that gives you a lot more. Like
Actually, the Forbidden Lore is actually only for Chaos Space Marines. Adeptus Astartes is actually common knowledge.
Okay.
no, fair enough.
Okay.
Well, you can get common, scholastic, and forbidden. Any law that you can
Yeah.
get common, you can get scholastic and forbidden. Any law you can
Okay.
get scholastic, you can get forbidden as well.
Mhm.
You can
Yeah,
get
it's
all
like-
of them, and it tells you different things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, Forbidden Law Ecclesiarchy would tell you things like redacted saints and stuff like that.
Gotcha. Okay.
Forbidden Law Adeptus not Adeptus Mechanicus, Adeptus Astartes would tell you things like traitor Space Marines and
There's Space Marines, probably the Death Watch.
yeah,
Probably
Death
like-
Watch.
Probably like maybe like vague knowledges of like hidden practices they might not want to know you about, like
Except
Blood
for the Dark
Angels and their-
Angels.
yeah,
Yeah,
like Dark Angels, Blood Angels, and all that.
Dark Angels, Blood Angels, Black Shields, stuff like that.
Mhm.
Scholastic Law would probably tell you different. Like Common Law would tell you different chapters. Scholastic Law would tell you more far field and less common like more of the hidden chapters. Forbidden Law would tell you things that you shouldn't know, things like Gene Seed. And like this thing, if any of you had Inquisition, I would say you would know there's such thing as Black Shields, not Black Shields, Death Watch, but like not anything about them.
So,
But yeah, with your Sinisians, you get this. The big machine in the corner, because that is all it is to you guys. It's just a big box with two arms.
Mhm.
It's a big stuffy box. You're sure there's someone in there? Their lifetime that they feel not dead, but like not quite alive. They also feel like a strong psyker, but like they're kind of asleep, if that makes sense.
Gotcha.
It's very, very weird. You have no idea what psychic abilities, if any, they have. But yeah. In terms of are they geared up for battle? This just seems that they're geared up because they can be geared up.
Make an impression on the Rubes kind of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
last time they met Suicide Cell, a lot of them were geared up. The only one that actually no, that's the shield. The guy in the shield. He has his massive shield with him, but he's in robes as well. Sorry. The one that's with the power sword nods to you. He's like, greetings. It's good to see you guys again.
it's good to see you as well.
He
Yeah.
looks is like, your party seems to have changed. Where is the one with the stick up his house?
Oh, he died.
Mm.
He unfortunately died while trying to recover artifacts from a ship infested with secretors we discussed before.
A noble death for one that was a bit of an asshole.
Let's see. As Rico kind of looks upon these Space Marines, he's either gonna trace like across power, where he's gonna hang on the Tech Marines, cybernetics a bit more, but like he's just gonna be there a bit slack-jawed as like the low stick kind of falls from his mouth for a second, as he just kind of like crosses his thumbs and holds up like the sign of the Aquila. Oh, Emperor's flaming sword! I never thought. I didn't really think I went to the Angels here.
Yeah, the one with the massive shield, and the one with the one that doesn't seem to be geared up at all, both like do the sign back. We tend to keep to ourselves when we're on station.
Um,
It's an honor, but as Rico just seems kind of like noticeably like as Rico kind of like seems like noticeably kind of shaken by this and kind of like very much off like his usual kind of like composure.
mhm.
It's an honor. It's just as he just kind of like stops kind of like dead as for a second as he just seems to like just like kind of like be at a loss for words.
Yeah. Eric's coughs rather loudly when she's in her normal. She's gone back to being carapace, and she kind of just coughs loudly to like try and wake you guys up.
Zetar moves straight to a chair.
Yeah, like.
Yeah.
He's
There's
already gotten over the these are Space Marine shock from last time. So
Yeah, there are a few scribes. There are a few people milling around. Instead of wearing the purple robes that you see traditionally here, they wear white robes with purple trim. And they bear a number of different symbols. You don't really recognize any of them. But they kind of like they're completely silent. They just like they don't even like when they offer you they offer people refreshments, but they don't say anything. You know.
I'll take some tea as a way to just. And she's just shaking a little bit, and she's trying to calm her nerves.
Yeah, like
Scythia has never encountered Astartes before.
no. These are Astartes are like mythical beings.
Yes.
Also note that you would not know about Chaos Space Marines in any shape or form. The only one you would know is Horus, and even then you would know
the arch traitor.
Yeah, the arch traitor, and all you would really know is Horus was bad. He betrayed, he was one of the Emperor's Primarchs, and he betrayed him. That's all you know of the Horus Heresy. You don't know about any of the other Primarchs falling. You don't know about any of the Space Marines falling. Just for character reference, because people don't often realize that's very, very sensitive.
Yes, in a lot of places, even knowledge of Horus falling is can be very uncommon, but because go ahead. I don't want to impose upon the DM.
Yeah, no, horror, it does depend, but you're in the Inquisition, so you know a bit more than the average person.
Yeah.
If you want to say your character doesn't, that's totally fine, but I say that as a blanket because then everyone's on board, because otherwise people forget that.
Zetar doesn't know. Zetar doesn't care.
Yeah, Zetar's Xenos, he doesn't know anything.
Zetar makes a good purpose of sitting farther away from the big scary space marines that will shoot him.
That's fine.
And he will ask for recap.
Yeah, drinks are provided. The people are walking around with a tray of coffee, tea, various types of ambisec, water, juices, that sort of thing. It's an actual trolley of various things, biscuits. They don't say anything. They just kind of gesture, try and get your attention, and then gesture, and then serve, and then move on.
Sangu will of course also observes the protocol, as in greet with an aquila and a bow, and also stay back a little. Not.
Yeah.
He also observes the strange war machines they have brought, which
doesn't move.
Yeah.
There's no lights on it. Doesn't move.
Which he's just might seem quite obviously confused about why they brought a tank in here. He doesn't say anything about it, so.
The person at the head of the table, it's sort of at the end you come in, the Throne Agent Elise is sort of sitting there. She's not sitting quite at the head of the table. She's sort of like, it's kind of rounded, and she's sort of sitting on one side, so Arix can sit on the other. Actually sitting at the head of the table is the guy with the skull mask, the Space Marine with the skull mask. He goes, he nods sort of to the party. He doesn't seem to make any regard either way to the Xenos or the mutants. He goes, I am Captain... I don't have Space Marine names to hand, bloody hell. Never mind, he doesn't say anything. Screw it, he doesn't say anything, he just sits there and watches. Yeah, I've decided he's just going to sit there. When you sort of like come in and settle down and stuff, the one with the sword and bolter stands up. You note that his chair does not make a sound when he stands up. And like where some of the others might be like clinking slightly from their armor because while it's big and bulky, it's, you know, designed for stealth, like not designed for stealth per se. He doesn't make a sound. And he goes, I am Brother Sergeant Varosa.
Varosa,
thank you. I can't say my own name.
That was my best attempt.
Yeah. I have met some of you before, and you have met some of my comrades before. Yes, we have some information that may interest you. No, it's with a V.
Varosa. Not
V-
Varosa.
I can't.
Vararos.
Varos. Varos. I can't
How
speak.
dashing.
Yeah.
Why?
Like, everyone's just like freaking out in the background. Like, "Ah!" Sorry. As you know, we met when we were hunting the some of you know, we are hunting the Relentless Retribution, a Dark Age technology. But for those of you who I see are new, we are hunting a Dark Age of technology ship. This particular ship has a unique warping capability. I'm not exactly sure of the details, but I've been informed that they have a array of 1,000 navigator brains. This allows the ship to do jumps which are otherwise impossible, such as jumping within system, or well, reliably jumping in system. As you can imagine, such a ship is rather priceless to the Imperium.
Indeed.
The ship in question was last seen during the Great Crusade, or just before the Horus Heresy. He doesn't go into any more detail actually. It was last seen heading out this way. The only sign of it since its disappearance was its missing escape pod. Well, its escape pod. As we encountered when we found you, they have a message and a number of coordinates. During our investigations into one of these locations, we went to one of the worlds they searched. There wasn't any sign of the Relentless Retribution, however there was signs of combat, and ancient combats. We found an old, in orbit of the planet there was a small ruined void ship. It was no more than a scout. Wolfpack rider. When we were investigating it, we saw it being basically turned into a tomb. I won't bore you with the details, but it seems everyone on board was killed by Space Marines. Now, the interesting thing about this was, when we were about to leave, we picked up signals. We let our cover ship warp out, and our strike cruiser remained in system. The signals turned out to be a small ship, a small recovery ship. When we decided to investigate further, knowing that there is this unusual organisation involved, we approached, and we found that the small ship, was a salvage operation.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, we were able to do a rather precise strike on it. We were able to recover a number of officers, and while most of them didn't want to hand over information, we were able to learn that they were working. Their last orders were off an individual called Welsfin.
Mm. This is as you know, that is the last known operative of the unknown hand, unseen hand we had to deal with.
Killian, who's kind of just like, yes, that's why I believed that it was important to inform you. Operations regarding the unseen hand are Suicide Cell's directive currently, and so I thought that information would be best be relayed to you.
Could you learn of where the ship was based, or where they were supposed to deliver the salvage to?
Yes, well, partly. They were aimed to be delivered to a small, uncharted region of space. The world in question I'm not familiar with, and our archives don't seem to have any proper records of it.
In Leeds, the previous operations of Suicide Cell carried out, there were frequently references to unknown worlds and uncharted space.
Killian nods. Is like, yes, that is true. It does match up with one of them. The one which I believe it matches up to the one with plasma ammo, the Moonlighter ammo.
Mm-hmm. That sort of makes sense. It sounds like it would be a sort of technology base of the unseen hand.
The Tech Marine nods. He's like, yes. It would likely show that it is some sort of forge world. An operation of their scale would have to have a private forge world. They would not be able to simply acquire illegally via multiple other forge worlds. Someone would have picked it up.
Yeah.
Let's see. Throne Agent. The Throne Agent actually chimes in at this point. He's like, yes. We also believe they might have some sort of port world as well, able to build void ships. The void ship itself we encountered, while unfortunately they were able to scuttle it, we did note that it was much smaller and much smaller than a normal Wolfpack raider, like a normal frigate or raider. A crew of maybe 1,000 to 2,000 at most. We believe that their salvage operation wasn't for large scale, wasn't for cargo. It was more for information. They have minimal transport capabilities, minimal facilities, but they still had a warp engine. It's actually rather insane.
I assume you did check out, seek whatever information they could have been after.
Yes, it seems to be in regards to the Relentless Retribution. There wasn't anything the reason why we investigated the ship was because it was one of the places we believe the Relentless Retribution went to. When we checked their we noticed that the ship, as we said, the ship had been raided. What Varasos may have failed to mention was that it seemed to be clearly raided by Space Marines.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
The wreck was rather old as well, around 10,000, dating back to around the Great Crusade. This would put it in the right timescale of the Relentless Retribution. We have reason to believe the Relentless Retribution attacked it, and I believe they took the cargo, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what that cargo may have been?
Unfortunately, no. The entire the ship's entire cogitator had been destroyed, and when I just completely destroyed and removed. We did investigate. We did look a bit more. There were signs of other ships as well. We believe that it might have formed a Space Hulk and warped out. It would be a small Space Hulk, but well, relatively small Space Hulk. Maybe 4 or 5 ships. It's possible that if this Space Hulk was located, we might be able to. It might be able to locate more information on it.
How easy is it to track something based on its once it goes into warp? Is there any ability to trace the direction it's going?
With normal ships, sometimes it depends on how sloppy the navigator and the warp jump is. It's not always possible. Likewise, sometimes it's possible to track it via our astropath, depending on the equipment and research. Given a Space Hulk, Space Hulks are much harder.
Okay.
She pauses. It may be possible to. It might just be possible to track it via pattern. Sometimes, not always, void ships, Space Hulks have patterns. Think of it like a cycle of seasons, or migration of birds on a planet. And it will certain Space Hulks follow a certain pattern. Now, there's no telling. I've requested information on Space Hulks that vaguely match the possibilities of it. It's just going to take a lot of time. If something does come up of it, and we're not in a position to deal with it, I will relay the information to you.
Thank you.
It seems very clear that these crystals and the Relentless Retribution are very clearly tied, as was indicated by the fact that they are hunting the creatures that are now involved with this unseen hand. For some reason, this unseen hand also seems to be intertwined. If there was any actual clear signs of it, I would have said it might have been to the Cult of the Bird.
Cult of the Bird?
One of the 4 Chaos Gods. I don't particularly like saying the name out loud. It's at this point, to all of your surprise, and apparently also the Space Marines as well. The only one that doesn't seem to noticeably react is the one with the skull mask. The box talks. Zinch.
Oh.
That's all he says. Just Zinch. And there's a noise which you think is probably a growl. It just sounds like a motor. After a moment, the free captain nods and is like, yes, him. Or it. I don't particularly like saying the name out loud, for obvious reasons, but there's no sign of it. But it seems almost like plots within plots, if that makes sense. Or plots tied within other plots.
Yes.
It's very much his MO. But I don't know. For reference, none of you would know what Zinch is, unless you got Forbidden Law Heresy.
I have Forbidden Law Occult, which is...
You
I have
would have heard
Scholastic
of
Lore
it.
Occult.
Yeah, you would have.
I also have a cult, Scholastic.
Scholastic Law, you might have heard of it, not in any detail. Forbidden Law Occult, yeah, you've heard of Zinch.
never mind, it's just Scholastic.
Oh, okay. You've probably heard the name, but no context to it.
Maybe could it be possible that we've just heard like
It's a bad thing.
folk
Yeah,
tales of something similar?
Yeah, if you want to really make it, if you want to make a test to,
I would like to give it a try.
yeah,
Yeah, might as well.
stairs, desperation.
Nope.
9 on target 52.
Yeah, you've
Wow.
heard of Zinch. Zinch tends to be plots within plots, or plots based on plots and stuff like that. The other two things that are often tied with Zinch are mutation, and psychos. More typically sorcerers. Those who use books for magic as opposed to raw psychic power.
Zetar just kind of frowns like, ah, God, I hate the... Yeah, I know a bit about him.
Just
Zetar just kind of like...
just another
brings-
motorized growl from the box in the corner.
Yeah, Zetar kind of brings his hands up to like his temples and just kind of rubs his like... Man, I hate the whole like... Just kind of like waves his hand as if it's hard to explain because it is Zinch.
Yeah, the free captain seeing this is like, there is no evidence of it, so until I have seen something, I'm going to assume no. Just because something looks like it does not mean it is. Without solid evidence, I'm not going to jump on anything.
That's good. Just... It's still good to be safe. To prepare against it.
Varus nods, yes. Prepare for the worst, hope for the best.
Zetar looks to the rest of Suicide. I'll fill you in on what I know about the scary guy.
So yeah, Varus is like, do you have anything you feel is relevant to us in our investigation?
And their investigation is to find that ship, right?
Their investigation is to find the ship, yes. Yeah. Or have you encountered those beasts again? Encounters of the beasts, those creatures may be related to our investigation.
Ah, yes. Well, the reason for myself and I'm sorry, which other character came in with me?
Hi. Scythia.
Scythia, thank you. Yes, the reason that we joined the suicide cell is because our ship was overtaken by these beasts that were immensely powerful.
Yes. As I have told Suicide Cell before, it took over 200 Space Marines to cleanse a planet that was rather entrenched with it. Admittedly, this was back during the Great Crusade, so and it wasn't just a single chapter before you asked. It was a pool of resources from wherever it was available.
Deadlight.
Me.
Do they know of the ship that we recently ran into that we had to detonate the void reactor.
That's what you're telling him about.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
what we were just talking about right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I've kind of like looped out a few times.
Okay, they only know up to the Relentless Retribution, and when you left them, they don't know anything about Tranquility Station or like the ship there.
Alright.
But
I was making sure because I kind of blanked out a little bit
Yeah,
while you were talking because I got distracted with another chat that popped up. Someone
no,
wanted
that's
to
fine.
ping me.
That's fair.
Yeah. So yes, these creatures formed on board our ship. We lost most of the crew and some of the cargo before we before our new throne agent voided the ship, and then it seems that she detonated the crystals back to the world.
A smart move. These crystals are not easily transported or handled. May I ask where you picked these up?
Do I know? I should know, right?
Yeah, you would know it is a... You can make up a planet, honestly.
Yeah, it was on Ganymede Station.
Ganymede Station. Interesting. We will have to investigate this further. As you've probably already realised, engaging these things once they are fully mature is next to suicidal for anyone.
Do you think a cult might be behind this?
Potentially. We'll have to investigate Ganymede Station. If there was even one crystal remaining behind, it could have formed a new cell of this.
We did find a lot of information at Twilight Station as well. They have
Tranquility.
right. Sorry, Tranquility Station.
It's fine.
They have a lot of information on many different things. To be honest.
And I've been compiling. I've been compiling my own notes for the purposes of research regarding these things, as well as just trying to pass on better ways of combating them.
Mm-hmm.
And I was the one who suggested voiding the ship to see if that would kill them.
And did it?
I look at our throne agent, Eric's.
She shakes her head. No, it forced them into a sort of stasis mode, hibernation mode. They were still alive, but they were unresponsive to anything aside from grenades, or like high damage. So we were able to transport them to as well as the remaining crystals to next to the warp core, where I did a controlled detonation. This allowed the destruction of it safely because there was nowhere. I had no facility to transport the stuff, and honestly, I couldn't risk leaving it so close to Tranquility. The Adeptus Mechanicus would have almost certainly picked it up. The Tech Marine nods as a yes. The members of Tranquility are eccentric.
We noticed.
Yes, well, if there is nothing else, I believe that has updated both our operations. It's good to see some of you in good health still.
Indeed.
May the Emperor protect.
Maybe.
The Emperor protects.
May the Emperor protect? Was he Tar Mimics?
Yeah, the Marines, with the exception of the women in the Skullmast, or like, say it as well, some with more like dedication than others, and then sort of like let you leave if you wish, unless you want to question them more.
Icarus says it kind of mumbling and not really looking at them, and kind of edges towards the door.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine. You're free to edge towards the door.
Zitar climbs out of his chair and just runs off on all fours because that's his quickest mode of movement. Out the door in a second.
Yeah. You will like just dart out. Unless any of you wants to like play 20 questions with them like last time. That was fun. I really enjoyed that. Like everyone was like, "So why didn't you make sound?" and stuff. That was fun.
I would have asked the giant box, but I'm the Xeno and I don't want to go near the giant box. It might step on me.
Yeah.
Might tap dance on my body.
Hmm.
Oh, if anybody knows of an animation of a dreadnought dancing, please send it to me.
So I know there is a comic. Even in death, I still got served.
Even in death, I still serve, and it's dance. It's breakdancing.
Yeah.
I have one which I prefer, which is this one.
Hmm? Yeah, yeah, that one.
Like the dancing
know.
one is so obvious and so overdone that I prefer this one.
Yeah, that is awesome. Nice.
Well, I don't look into Space Marines much because I don't find them interesting, but
Hmm.
dreadnoughts
I
are
love that one,
so derpy that
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're amazingly derpy. Like, yeah, I understand like not wanting to go into Space Marines.
Mhm.
I do try to portray these like proper Space Marines and not like stat blocks or anything. Like these are individuals and like. So yeah.
That is the
Yeah.
dancing one.
That's the one.
perfect.
Even in death, I still serve. So yeah, you leave. Yeah. Skillia. So what you find out about the Xenos? So the ones Zetar's race. You find that up until about 30 to 40 years ago, they were a slave race. To I can't remember now.
Strixus.
Strixus, thank you. They were a slave race to the Strixus, where they were used as like labor as well as experimentation. They recently did a uprising where they managed to overthrow the Strixus and kick them out. Unfortunately, the surface of the planet was destroyed, or badly damaged, which doesn't affect them too much because they're kind of underground dwelling anyway. So they've been recently setting up their society, like rebuilding their society and stuff. Records on their new society is sketchy at best. There's not really much. Their biology, you learn that they are not good for eating. They're not very good for eating. There is a natural mutation within their society that sometimes occurs. That they will be born with wings. Those born with wings tend to be, from what little is there, seem to have a higher standing in society.
They are the noble of us.
Aside from that, was there anything else you were particularly after?
That would work.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, if you like modern sort of recent history, it's a bit harder. There is some records of them having some sort of ability to. They seem to be really, really good artisans, and it's something related with psychers, but there's not really much on it. It's like not a problem we're not going to investigate, sort of thing. You do know their world is neutral, and they do allow Imperials.
Yeah, you would probably have to record about this memory art, which is basically their unique and most known export.
Yeah, they've got some records on it. If you actually ask around the agents within the cell, you can find out they do this thing called memory art, where they can produce art based on memories. Now, it can either be your imagination, an actual memory, or like a mix of the two. And it's not like a single psycho, it's like a whole choir of them, and it's like they're like quite hospitable and stuff like that. So, but yeah. As for the beasts with the crystal beasts, that's all restricted. I assume you asked Alex to forward through it.
Yes.
There is very little record matching those beasts. There's a few records of the crystal. Most of the time seeming to it just sort of like appears and then causes like a blackout, sort of, if that makes sense. Like the planet goes dead. When it's investigated, the planet is barren of life. There is only one encounter of the creatures themselves, and that was a single creature on a rather large space rock, actually, which has a very regular pattern. If you look into it, there was a single one of those creatures on board it. It's from a Imperial. It's actually from the Mechanicus records when they sent in recovery teams, and they saw it on like a lower catwalk, if that makes sense. They never engaged it. That's the only records that match it. Well, they did engage it, but their weapons did absolutely nothing. Oh, they did some, but not much, if that makes sense. The beast retreated in deeper. If you want more information on that, I can get that to you. It's just I don't have it to hand.
Yeah. Just send it to me when you're able to.
Yeah, like remind me in the week, and I'll write something up for it, and you can like have it as a lead.
Will do.
Anything else you guys want to investigate?
I think we're done here.
I do want to kind of, as we're leaving the meeting, kind of glare around at those who've been in the group longer and could have told us what we were walking into.
What was that?
Sorry, Icarus, kind of, as we're leaving the meeting with the other cell, is kind of glaring at those who acknowledge that they knew the Marines and whatnot, knew what we were walking into.
So that would be Zeta,
Zangu,
Julia,
and
Zengu, Jenny, and Julia, I think.
Yeah, a little bit.
Heresy.
Not like I'm gonna get you, but like you could have warned us, kind of look.
They could have, but it would have been far less funny.
Yeah, it was nicer to see your surprise since one of those guys actually snuck up on one of the people you replaced. It was hilarious, terrifying. It was better for you to see it yourself than us say, "Oh, by the way, we're about to go see Space Marines," and you go, "Oh, nah, really? No way." It was just easier.
Yeah, as Xita is saying, if we had told you we were going to meet Space Marines, would you have believed us?
Perhaps not, but it still might have made the meeting a little more tenable.
To be fair, one of them snuck up on the party in, so they were in a snowy ruin. One of them snuck up on the party in full black armor in the snow.
That is rather impressive.
When I say snuck up, I mean literally put his bolter to the back of the guy's head.
Yeah. It was the one who made no noise.
Yeah.
I believe.
The one with the power cell and bolter. Power cell? Power sword.
Power cell.
Just
He's
runs
just
around
carrying a
battering-
Duracell.
beats people's heads with it also.
I mean, he is a Space Marine, he probably could.
He just has a sock full of Duracell batteries that he just like swings like a mace.
Right, okay, enough of that. But yeah. So. that's
Next
like-
time we'll let you know if something big like that happens, but we knew you guys weren't going to be in any trouble. And if it wouldn't have mattered if we told you anyways.
So yeah, yeah, I will write up some stuff.
So how are we going to find that space hulk?
For now, I think we just leave it up to the Space Marines.
If you wanted to go for the okay, so these, you have
Yeah,
an unknown planet tied to Wilson's operation, which you know the location of,
Mhm.
and you can get there.
And
You
which
have-
might be their forge world, or one of their forge worlds.
Yeah, it's some world. You don't suspect you don't think it's a forge world. It might be something like an agri world, or possibly a research world. You don't think it's a forge world,
Mhm.
mostly because you can see the sky.
Hmm.
Good enough to actually get a number of a number of people to actually work out the location of it.
Yeah.
There is Heresy, which has kidnap excellence and a possible heist. You want the heist to do work with someone else. That is a pleasure world. There's Port Imperatus, which has the weak coal trader link. Fortune's Promise, which has the strong coal trader link. Both those coal trader links are related to Welston's Xenotech armor.
Mhm.
He had a Tau battle suit, which is not common because, as I said, you are on the wrong side of the galaxy.
Yeah.
There is also 2 Space Hulks you could try and hunt down for.
Mhm. Yeah, so
One of them,
that is probably linked to the Relentless Retribution, and the other one.
yeah, the one linked to the Relentless Retribution is going to require some dice rolls and stuff because it's not going to be easy. And I will work with you guys. If you want to go for after that one, I will work with you guys this week to try and work out if you can piece it together.
But we do have a solid lead about the hand, though, right?
Yeah,
The unknown planet, which might be a research or
yeah. It's not the Forge world, but it's some. You don't know what it is.
Mhm.
It's probably not. It's not a Forge world, and it's not a Hive world because it still has an atmosphere, a clear atmosphere.
Yeah, what we know is that it's a world very important to the Unseen Hand.
One of the lieutenants had a picture of the night sky with like a woman, and
Well, maybe we should go to there then.
What I suggest is we go on to the planet that I think we were planning to, which was the heist planet.
Didn't we also have something to do on Barrows Station?
Yeah, you want to go to Maris to like update charts and stuff, and I can't be asked to do that. So if you want to go there, you can. Like I would have done it at the start of the session because it was been like, cool. You go there for 5 minutes, you talk to a guy, he gives you some stuff, and you piss off. Like, it wouldn't be notable role playing. If you want to do that, I'll probably run it in.
Okay, yeah. I didn't remember what we wanted to do there.
It was just to update your map so you could try and confirm this unknown region.
Right.
If you do want to go there, if you do want to go to the unknown region, I will just say you've been there and done it because it's not much there. I don't have an investigation I want to do there at the moment.
Okay.
So, what I suggest is before we go to that planet, we should probably do the heist thing. Get what's the pirate dude's name?
Oh, what's his face? Yeah.
Get him on our side with what we make from the heist, and then go to the planet.
Darkest.
Darkest?
Pirate Prince Darkus, yes. Remember also,
We
One
can
of the Space
backstab
Marines
him for the Space Marines.
Yes,
because
the,
one of them has a grunt on them.
Hector has a massive grudge against him. Like, properly, like, wants to murder the face.
So, I suggest before we go to this planet that's controlled by this enemy of ours, we should probably get just a little bit more resources to cover our asses, I think.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because it is an entire planet.
Yeah.
That's fair. There's two cells that are relatively friendly terms with Suicide Cell that you know of. One is Axamura, which is Jackram Cell. You would know Jackram took over the operations of rooting out Wilson's operations on where you left. Arix was originally based on a planet which I've forgotten the name of, Auga. Huh? Arguna. Arix used to be on Arguna. When she found Welson's operations, Jackram took over, became a full throne agent, whereas Arix went off taking a new, and she left him the old cell. Arix went off with a new cell to investigate Welson's operations abroad, planets. So, Jackram is currently based here, so if you wanted to talk to him, you could. I might convince Dio to run him.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything I'd bother Jackram for, other than
That's
to mess with his frilly hat.
You cannot mess with his
That is very risky.
You mess with his frilly hat, you get a power fist to the face.
Yeah.
Very worth it. That 5 seconds of seeing his confused faces.
Arix, you offered it? Yes?
Because I'm not as caught up with because myself and Icarus aren't familiar with some of the previous events and the previous encounters with these creatures. I was wondering if it was possible for me to meet with the Space Marine leader and sort of just ask him if it was possible for me to get access to their information regarding the Xenos.
Yeah, did I write it down? I feel like I wrote it down somewhere. So... Okay, that's fine. My brain's kind of switched off. They have encountered, so, as I said, they did some research on the Relentless Retribution. The last time it was officially seen was pre-Horus Heresy, on a planet known as, in the orbit of a planet known as Jeskit 7. There, these creatures had developed into a later stage. So, what these creatures do is they send people insane, make them form a cult, get them to kill a load of them, make them into a nest, like about 8 bodies with a crystal. The crystal then develops into a host Xeno. When the host Xeno is hatched, they have stone chitin with these crystals for blades. They have claws. They have 3 claws on their hands, and they have 2 powerful claws on their backs, and they have clawed feet. They're about 8 feet tall. They are incredibly hardy. They can survive wounds which should kill most things. That's assuming you can punch through their stone their stone chitin. Once they have a number of workers, they will work on a queen, which is a large crystal, about 20 to 30 bodies. Once they have a queen, the queen will then be able to control them like a hive mind, and they will start attacking larger population centers to increase their number. After that, they will then they will also start trying to spread themselves as well, to get onto other planets, where they will try and collect to a greater, they'll make biochips to fire themselves into other stations, stuff like that. And eventually they will reach a critical mass where they'll be near impossible to kill.
Mm.
Mm.
Even with Exterminatus?
There's no guarantee Exterminus will kill them.
Those things
Do they know?
are in Exterminators. Speaking of that, are there any news of Heros? And what happened since we left?
Heros, they've mostly been keeping it quarantined. They have been taking some crystal sample. Like they sent teams. They haven't really sent teams down. They sent like a few. They've managed to recover a few crystals, which they've then taken to very remote locations with very big precautions. Like if the base doesn't report in once every 24 hours, it just auto-destructs.
Okay.
And
No,
it's like
I mean,
fully
they
cleansed.
were in the state that they had started to form a queen. I know we've blown up the queen's nest, but that did actually work.
Yes. From what they've been able to recover, it looks like they're just mindless beasts because they don't have the biomass needed to make a new queen, and they can't get out.
Okay.
They have been monitoring it very closely. They do seem to at times try to burrow, but without a queen, they're kind of mindless.
Mm.
Now, whenever they send anyone down there, they immediately try and kill them to make more biomass. So they can't really send anyone down there without them basically having jetpack
Without
straps.
feeding
Therefore,
them.
yeah, basically like making sure they're. If they die, they die in an explosion. Like they are non-recoverable.
Mhm.
What do we know about the crystals? Like, are they destructible in any way?
Sort of.
Not really. Not that the Inquisition has found yet. The crystals themselves seem to dislike mirrored surfaces, and directly touching them basically sends you insane. Also,
They just like what?
mirrored surfaces.
Oh, okay.
So when they first encountered just a crystal, it caused mirrors to break, windows to shatter. They seem to screw with warp powers as well. They make the Immaterium weaker, which means it causes more perils and stuff.
Didn't it also cause like shadow figures to appear in mirrors and such?
Yeah. If you're carrying a crystal carefully, there seems to be creatures tied to the crystals themselves. Shadowy figures that you can only really see in mirrors. They haven't. This is the thing. They have to take so many precautions to study these things that they can't really do much research on them. Currently, they've been spending a lot of time trying to set up these remote bases that they can do this research on. Because they have this thing. They can't transport it very far, so they can't transport it off planet.
Mm. I mean, that's probably a good thing.
That's both a good and a bad thing. The good thing is they can't be transported and therefore can't get somewhere else. The bad thing is they have to set everything up there, and the system is still a war system, so getting supplies in there is a kind of a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Who left?
Dex, he's being called away and probably will not return.
That's fine.
I'd say we're just at the end of session.
Yeah, you're just I'm just trying to get you guys up to speed and stuff. So
Okay.
like update you. The stuff happens in the background. This is not, as you might know, the Inquisition here is both proactive, not reactive, and also somewhat competent. However, to offset that, they are also incredibly radical.
Yeah.
Yes.
as you've probably seen.
And also mildly
Yes.
understaffed.
Mildly understaffed? I wouldn't say they're understaffed.
They are understaffed in the fact that they have an entire place to deal with no quote unquote real organization relative to the rest of the Inquisition.
They have to deal with everything.
Yeah.
This is the thing. Most subsystems don't have that much in the way of Inquisitorial assets. If that makes sense.
Okay.
Clinic sector is like weird because it has like way more Inquisitorial assets than like anywhere else. It's got like 10 million assets compared to it's like insane.
Okay.
So it's weird in that sense. A lot of the Imperium just doesn't have that much in the way of assets, like Inquisitor
Okay.
assets, because the Inquisition can move around.
Hmm.
They can be
Yeah.
where they are needed. Whereas in Yinderfell, they can't move. They can't get assets in easily, so they have to make do with everything here. But then they're also the Inquisition, so they can basically commandeer anything they need. So it's a double-edged blade. And it also means they're also limited to where, like, the scope of where they need to operate is limited. They don't need to chase Heresy, like, halfway across the galaxy. They can just deal with it in-house. As long as it's in-house, and, yeah, so.
Basically, as soon as the heresy passes the Jennifer gates, it's someone else's problem.
Yeah, they would pass it on. It would be unlikely that they would track it down, simply because getting through the gates is a pain in the ass.
Mm-hmm.
They might track it down if it went into the Cronus Expanse. But then you're still going into another expanse, so it's like, oh. So.
Yeah, I agree with the idea of just like, yeah, fuck it, it's your problem now.
Yeah,
Here's everything you know. Have fun.
It's easier to, if something is passing through the gates, it's easier to get a message across it than it is to get a ship across it. And plus, the Inquisition here is on pretty good terms with others because they keep themselves to themselves. So everyone can think that they're either Puritan or radical as much as they need to.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
Which is fine by me.
Yeah, like they use their isolation to their advantage when it's dealing with it external.
Hey, I get to play wacky characters. I'm okay with this.
Yeah. So where are you guys thinking of going?
My vote is we hit the heist planet, the big one, because if
Sure.
I remember, there's a
Sure.
few ones. Yeah, we hit that place, we do the heist, and then we go get a Pirate Prince, Dacus. Whatever we do with him, we figure that out.
Yeah.
I just
exactly.
think it's better to have his resources right now.
So you want to do the heist and kidnapping stuff.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's fine.
If we can solve both cases, that would be best.
I imagine you probably would. Because the
Yeah.
heist you actually need to plan, which means you need time to actually do the like. It's a heist, so you need to actually like, plan it and do research and stuff like that. So it does give you some time to do, like deal with the kidnapping. So that's cool. That's fine.
That's my vote. If anybody else has anything, go ahead, say it.
No, that's
That
perfect.
sounds good.
Oh yes. Something else that I can update you on is Majos Lasky, who is, for those of you who are newer, he is a Majos these guys picked up on Arguna.
Oh, Brain Boy?
Yeah, Brain Boy.
Brain
So he is a Majos that managed to perfect cloning the mind. They could transfer it from one body to another. Unfortunately, during his experimentations, he accidentally alerted the Inquisition by making a murder servitor which murdered 2 people. And was the first time I used fear. And every PC in real life went, "Wow, I should probably make a fear test in real life."
It was a scary thing.
It was a scary thing. But anyway, he says here he can safely awaken the 3 experiments.
Oh, splendid.
So during their investigation, they picked up 3 people who were experimented on, and the Magos could not awaken them for safety reasons. Here, he has all the facilities he needs.
What is his fears about the experiments? Does he have any like?
Didn't know what had been done to them, so he didn't know how to treat them. And it could be very easily that he didn't have the facilities on hand to save them, or like they could explode.
Okay.
Whereas here, they're kind of sorted for that, and they can set something up quickly.
I say awaken them.
Yeah, he will awaken them. So I'll start next session
With the
or,
awakening.
with the awakening. I'm sure people will be interested in that.
Definitely.
Oh, yeah.
I was about to say, we are going to be in warp for a while.
Yeah.
So
He'll probably do the awakening on the station, work out make sure they're all stable, and then transfer them onto the ship so you can do the stuff while in warp.
yeah, exactly. That was my idea.
Yeah, you can head out.
Alright.
Well, unless you might want to leave your vote for the session.
Oh yeah, vote. Who are people voting for? Unfortunately, Dex has run away. So.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. Great.
I
Who's the
will vote. I will actually vote for Dex, despite that he ran away. No.
Rachel? Interest? That's not how you say your name.
Did you?
Scare. I tried to say both of their names at the same time, and my brain just switched off. Scary?
Dex.
Serene?
I'm gonna vote for Cynthia.
And Icarus.
I also vote Cynthia.
Cool. Well, that's 3 votes for Dex, so he gets a vote.
I appreciate the votes.
Yeah, it's a shame. If Dex had been here, we probably would have got. Do you know what? No, I'm gonna say you get it as well because I'm gonna make Dex vote for you.
Okay.
Cool.
He's not here, so he's not here, so I can take it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So thank you everyone very much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed. I shall see you all next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.